you're looking for a supplement with some fascinating research behind it, check out C60 Evo ESS60. In the 2012 Paris Bati study, rats given C60 Evo organic olive oil showed a 90% increase in lifespan, one of the largest ever reported in that type of research, and it was noted that they died without tumors, which was unusual. C60 Evo has been producing carbon-60 in its Houston lab for over 35 years, and it's the only lab whose products have been used in peer-reviewed studies on this miracle molecule. They also produce pure carbon-60 ESS60 elemental safe spears with 60 carbon atoms. Other peer-reviewed research has found C60 Evo to be 125 to 172 times more potent than vitamin C as an antioxidant. And personally, I've been taking C60 Evo ESS60 for about a year and a half. I used to get 1 or 2 bad migraines per year, and since taking it daily, I haven't had even one or even a cold in that time. And if you'd like to try it as well, head over to c60evo.com/Spaceshot76 or use the link in the pinned comment or the description box below and save $15 on your first order.
Officials not to investigate the origins of a disease at, say, a testing lab in Wuhan funded by U.S. dollars. Why would a U.S. government agency be partnering with a known adversary on a Chinese Institute of Virology, particularly one that President Obama defunded, based on the risks of gain-of-function testing in 2014? And yet the funds still flowed to that facility. How many U.S. government officials were under Chinese control or influence to facilitate that?
Here I am watching this lioness.
Well, here I am last night watching this Lioness series. So that's how that video started. And I was literally almost crapped my pants when I saw Nicole Kidman's husband, I believe, in this show start talking about what he was talking about. And that was pretty wild for me to see. So I thought I had to get that out. And I will once again just let people know, because more than likely on at least one platform, I'll have to remove this. So what we just watched was a series called The Lioness Series, Episode 3 from Season 3, where Nicole Kidman's husband essentially talks all about COVID, the gain of function, and how, under Barack Obama, they cut the funding, but yet the funding still got there. So it shows how entrenched these people or in the government were with China. So I wanted to make that one clear. Yep. But as we were, guys and gals out there, it is Tuesday, and I always have to give the date, Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. And again, I'm just amazed we're halfway through August, and the time is a-flying. But as it were, we have Mr. Ghost+Frens this fine evening. So let's start us off with Mr. Ghost and see how his week has been going, or any response. But how's it going today, brother?
Always good to be here with this wonderful, wonderful audience and you. And week's going well. Just tapping on a lot of keys, doing some writing. That's
Nice.
all. Other than that, I'm pretty much ignorant to what's going on for the last 4 or 5 days in the world, other than what I hear. So this ought to be interesting for me too.
Interesting. Oh, dude, yeah, it's coming out of the woodworks. But you really don't need to have been, around for the last 4 or 5 days, anyways, to see what we've been seeing, and we will go over, of course. I'm actually going to leave Mr. Armando for the for the last, because I think he has something to say to all you folks out there. But Mr. Doc Mike, sir.
It's racist.
I know.
It's all racist.
I'm making the Cuban guy go last. I mean, it's just I always get painted in the worst lights. You know, us Democrat hating. You know, we're the worst. But Mr. Doc Mike, sir. And you know, as I've always said, and you know, and I'm happy that this has happened. Of course, I'm not happy Miss Renee got had to take an emergency trip to the ER. But as you know, this had happened the other day. Thankfully, I was awake and put out some prayers for Miss Renee. And I'm happy to report that, you know, almost every time I put out a post, that's pretty much my most responded to comments out there, and lots of people. There was, I don't know, close to 100 comments on there, and lots of prayers. So, you know, as stated, our community, we have the best community out there that are always willing to help people do this, that, and the other, and especially when it comes to prayers. So, you know, of course, we know you had a very tough week to deal with that, but how's everything going, and how's Miss Renee doing today?
Yeah, you know, thank you very much. You know, first and foremost, you know, thank you for doing that. And thank you to all of the family here in the audience community here. Thank you very much for all the prayers that that were sent for Renee when we were sitting in the ER for hours and hours. And she wound up pulling through, and we wound up leaving probably a good, I don't even know. I just remember getting home in the morning, and it was already, you know, past like 7 in the morning, I think. If you know, it was so long. But the most important part, you know, from that is everyone, you know, who had, you know, prayed, and that meant a lot to us. And I really believe with all those prayers, that's what helped Renee get through what she was going through. And you know, so we're doing okay. We got a lot of things to deal with since the emergency room, and Renee's she's doing okay today. She's got a bad migraine, headache, and some palpitations, but she's doing the best she can. So you know, we're staying positive. You know, but absolutely thank you to everyone who had said all those prayers out there, and especially thank you donating to the GoFundMe for her. That, you know, thank you very much. That definitely helps, you know, with her hospital bills. Definitely helps with her the imaging, CAT scans, MRIs,
Additional medicine.
MRI. Yeah, additional medicine. Yeah, you know, they say it's a funny saying in the ER. It's like, you know, when you go to the ER, you know, we can give you some Tylenol or ibuprofen, but they don't tell you the cost of that. And one Tylenol or ibuprofen it's like $1,000 per pill. You know, it's ridiculous how the hospitals have that all financially set up, and Renee knows that better than I do, working as an ER nurse, and she got to work billing department before, working float pool, and so she has a really good understanding of how the finances work with billing and patient admin and release. So, but we're doing okay. There was a lot of interesting. There was a lot of military stuff that came up during this week that I've been taking care of, and it actually has a lot to do with what's going on, what we're seeing here, and what you're seeing in your world. There's a lot of overlap, and so I got a lot of interesting parallels to share, and crosstalk with everybody on here, and get everyone's opinion on it, because it's really interesting. The way things are going, it's not very a desirable direction that I think it should be going. So I think I would like to see everything going in more of a positive direction for armed services, but it seems to be uncanny in the opposite way, and hopefully that can be fixed and rectified, and we'll definitely get onto that and share it. And again, thank you to everyone. I hope everyone's having a fabulous Tuesday. And thank you, and we'll get underway here.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, brother. And yes, absolutely, prayers going out to Renee and people that took the time. And I looked at it the other day; it was like 83. It's up to like 130 folks that had commented on that. So that's awesome, of course. And just displays the sentiment of our people in general. Like the people that just want to see a better world, right? Like we always get painted into this light by the other side of these vicious, hateful people and racist and this, that, and the other. But couldn't be further from the truth. But as I make my my Cuban friend wait till the end, Mr. Armando, sir, let me pull him on and see if he's gonna pop his face on the screen here today. I'll make him a little bit bigger. There we go.
I'm on screen.
There we go.
There you go.
Now he's on screen. What's up, Mr. Armando? How's it going, brother?
Doing great, my friend. Thanks for having me out here again. Hello and good evening to everybody out there in the chat. Especially the awesome mods. They always give me a nice warm welcome. Thank you for that. No, everything's going great. Everything's going good, but I do have a sort of a big announcement, just not to scare anybody here. So effective immediately, I am going to be stepping away from Truth Table News World for the foreseeable future. I decided to take a very long-term journalistic assignment. And that's all I can say about it is just that. But no worries and no fear. The channel will be, Truth Table News World will be dormant for the foreseeable future, but I still will be coming on here with Spaceshot 76 at least once or twice a month, minimum. All right, so I'll still be coming on Tuesdays, so I can just, have some fun and hang out with you guys. But yeah, it was an opportunity that came up and I cannot pass on it because let's just say it's going to help my back pocket a little bit. And I know that we all need help in that area today. So unfortunately, I have to do it. And that was it. That was my announcement. So
heck yeah.
There will be no show on Thursday. It's done. It's basically done because I got to get moving. So
nice. So I won't be sharing out your show this Thursday because there will be no show to share out.
No show on Thursday. Like I said, it's going to be dormant for the foreseeable future while I go on assignment. And unfortunately, it's something that I didn't want to do, but I have to. I don't have a choice, man. It's just we're in these economic times where we here in my house, we just need the help.
No, understandable. Totally understandable. You got to do what you got to do, brother. I do, Of course, you'll be still coming on at least once or twice a month, so we'll get to see you still. No, nothing bad about that. So that's good.
That lovely face.
Yeah.
His loving face. I can't miss that. Yeah.
Oh, geez, where was this? So I did want to get back to this a little bit, guys, because I know, you guys have some experience with some of this stuff, and so this just really quickly, just to give an overview really quick, I'm not even sure what Nicole Kidman's position is here. I know she works in the State Department, but you have the woman that works under her that has this Lioness program, but they do everything out of the State Department. And like, only thing I think of like when I see her is like Hillary Clinton, right? Like the power that they have. Like, what kind of power do these State Department officials, like say a Hillary Clinton before or a Marco Rubio, have? Like, is it really? Oh, and there was actually a really funny comment that somebody put to this, and my buddy, I'll have him on with me on Friday. Very smart gentleman, running for local office in his area of Indiana, and very smart with the COVID stuff. So check this one out. He goes, Taylor Sheridan, yeah? So I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, this is another Tyler Sheridan show. But I'm like, wait, so this information that's coming out to me is just like too coincidental for the time frame that we're in now. And then on top of that, I also have a story that I don't want to say it's old news, but I could have sworn we had heard this reporting for a while, but Dr. David Morin's, oh wait, not this one. Dr. David Morin's, I mean, we got stories of people getting guilty and arrested left and right. It's hilarious. But David Morin's here pleads guilty out of this one. But I don't want to go off of the State Department thing here, though, too much. But anything you guys can say about, something, the power that a State Department official, like maybe the Secretary of State, might have? Do they really get into the weeds on this stuff as far as like operational things that you guys are aware of? I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, they do.
Glad you led with that.
Yeah. Sorry, Ghost,
Well,
go ahead.
No, I said I'm glad you led with that.
So, yeah. The State Department has a ton of control over a lot of things, especially in foreign countries. You'll see a lot of caveat positions to them, to where you'll have intersecting intelligence agencies riding along with them, and they'll have offices. They'll have offices, different locations within the U.S. Embassy, within consulates that branch out inside the State Department, including Langley, Fort Meade. We'll have a lot of officers, case managers that work out of those locations. Now, kind of ironically, with the TV show Lioness, and they're talking about COVID-19. When I was working the COVID-19 task force on the medical side, um, in my position was gathering medical intelligence and research to see for COVID overall. And what we had found out in the very beginning, and what's public now, so I can speak on, is that we had learned that COVID-19 and gain of function had long before even 2014, even close to 2012, and somewhat before, working on gain of function was getting funded under the Obama administration, and then Obama took that away from Fauci and his scientific teams and staff scientists, but under the table it was still being funded under the table with what everyone can kind of call that black ops money. And so with in Wuhan there was an actual office out there for Dr. Fauci and his team that were working on gain of function for COVID. Originally it was SARS-CoV-2, which COVID-19, and that was being funded out in Wuhan. And prior to that, it was multiple other locations: Ukraine, China, Georgia, not the state of Georgia, but the country, and quite a few other countries as well, including Australia. And so the with the money funding, that was we had known about that, but there was nothing, for my section, there was nothing we could do on our end about that. And primary of our roles was to gather the information on COVID, and where it came from, anything to do to mitigate and stop the spread of COVID, any and all information intelligence on the medical side of it. And so that was a big role, especially not just a human intelligence side of things, but uh, looking back at it now, the medical intelligence role of COVID-19 on that sector of the house, it's a lot broader, because you're not so much pinned into one area. And being in the medical area, we had access to a lot of different things. And so we actually had quite a few people arrested through different universities, and chairman. I believe we had a chairman out of Harvard University, that was arrested for sharing information and funding people over in China, over to their labs in China, and quite a bit. So to see that on Lioness, there's an old saying in Hollywood is, leak out what you're watching slowly, so people can prepare for it in the future. And that's actually everything they're talking about is very true. Very
Wow.
true.
That's wild. I mean, and it seems like all of this stuff keeps coming out. Like, I'm sure they didn't record this. I think this episode just came out in the last few days anyways. But like, as this stuff is going out, we get this story. What is today? Today's the 18th, yeah. So former senior NIAID official pleads guilty to charges connected to concealing federal records during COVID-19 pandemic. And this is David M. Morins. And who was it that put it out earlier? I want to say Rand Paul, and he actually kind of inferred like, oh, wait, he pled guilty. So is he rolling on other people? And then
he'll be the whistleblower, man, for a lesser sentence, I would guess, right? He's just going to spill the beans.
I would say that he's going to try to get exemption, get exempt from all of that. But in the world of Five Eyes, or the eyes, with people like this, is typically, and unfortunately, sometimes people have heart attacks before they make it to their next arraignment.
True.
I mean, as we all know in the movies, because that's how it happens in the movies. So
does William Casey ring a bell?
Oh God, William Casey. Let me see. While I have the microphone really quick, and I just happened to notice these two super chats from YouTube. Mr. MacGyver, who always bids us a good afternoon or a good evening. And in this case, it is a good evening, Patriots. And I need to get this link out to you guys as well. Mr. Randall Crow dropped a $10 one, says, hey, Spaceshot, thank you so much for reviewing my quote stuff. Excellent show. And I got to put that out. Had a really cool short video about the passing of his brother. And I think it was a little farewell message that him and his friends were actually viewing the Perseid meteor shower, and he said it was like you gotta see the story. I'll put it in the link and I'll drop it for you guys here on the panel a little later on. Beautiful little story. But yeah, so I did a little bit of legging around on this stuff here. Co-conspirator 1, co-conspirator 2, and and it says, well, co-conspirator 1 awarded the grant to Company 1 and co-conspirator 1, who made a sub-award to the WIV, Wuhan Institute of Virology. So I think I put it in here. It's going to be in this one here. So what I'm being told anyways, and we'll get to this one, is they're saying, ChatGPT is saying, the person most directly responsible for the sub-award to the Wuhan Institute of Virology was therefore Peter Daszak, or EcoHealth Alliance, while Fauci was the NIAID director overseeing the institute that awarded the prime grant. Now, I can't, vouch for what, for what AI is telling me, but when I asked it the first time, it says, if you're asking which person at NIAID was responsible for the grant that ultimately provided the subaward, blah, 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 it says, there are a couple of people to distinguish. And it lists first Dr. Anthony Fauci, NIAID director during the entire period. It awarded the prime grant. It gave the number, understanding the risk of bat coronavirus emergence, to EcoHealth Alliance. Peter Daszak, president of EcoHealth Alliance, was the principal investigator on the EcoHealth grant, and his organization made the actual sub-award to the WIV. So, is that Daszak? And then who would be number 2, and who would be number 2 then? Co-conspirator number 1, co-conspirator number 2. Co-conspirator number 1 made the award. I don't know if you guys have any guesses on this, but
okay. So hold on. So as the principal investigator, that means you are the lead person on this project. You're in charge of everything. So when the business development officer comes up and hands you over, like, here's all my leads, here's the paperwork, this is what we're aiming for, this is what the angel investors, this is what the other people who are coming in that are helping us with, hands it over to the principal investigator. The principal investigator approves it, takes it up to the grant officer, and the principal investigator typically will work with the grant officer, submits everything, and the grant officer will go over everything, and through the submittal process, they will approve or deny that grant. And within here, obviously, it's approved. So I'm looking for who's the principal investigator? Where's that up at?
let me see. I'm not sure, but I just added a comment to this one here, and this is going to give us some more fullness about the people here. So it says Emily Elderbing, whatever, NIAID official, was involved internally in tracking and discussing the funding. In April 20, she noted that roughly $750,000 was expected to go to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And then this is the one where I talked about, Fauci and then Peter Daszak. I'm not sure
Right.
who was the principal investigator on it. I don't know if it said in that article there.
Wait, go back down a little.
Hmm?
I just saw. Peter Daszak of EcoHealth Alliance was the principal investigator on the EcoHealth grant. So it was Peter Daszak.
Nice. So yeah, he's
Yes.
in hot water then, and so I mean all these guys, they need to make a big example of these guys. But I honestly think too, like what you were saying is more likely. Mr. Fauci might have some sort of an accident, or any of these people might have some sort of an accident before they get to go pointing fingers back to a bunch of other people. You never know.
But, and the other thing that over the years that I did learn was that there was a lot of other subgroups, and these subgroups with other people working on not just this grant, but the overall work. It was you could say subcontracted or pieced out, piecemealed. And some of the work actually went to nefarious people like Jeffrey Epstein and to some of his companies at the time that he had owned. But that is some investigation material that I actually had found to where part of that work actually went to him and his scientific team or teams and scientists that they had worked on. And then it was rewrapped around and sent back. So there is a lot of tie, but there's a lot of, not just the people in here with EcoHealth Alliance or, NIH, NIAID. It's even in the private sector, it's what we got to figure out. And if there's people out there willing to work on it too as well, is under that contract number there where it says grant. That's should be the prime contract number, R01 Alpha Idaho 110964. You could probably find that on a lot of if you do deep dives, however you may do it, and find some of these subgroups that are out there that they were corresponding with, and these are going to be a lot. These are going to be a lot more private corporations, shell corporations that they're working with.
Unreal. Yeah, I mean, it's all this, funding. But the good news is, at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of this stuff being exposed left and right.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, am I misremembering history here? And actually, you know what? I'll ask that once we bring in Mr. Let me block the screen, and then we'll pull in Mr. Jeffrey Davis, or excuse me, Mr. Jeff Davis. Oh, I got one. I got two. I got one. I got two. How many do we got? Here we go. Let me do it this way. We'll see if maybe that way it'll be a little bit better. Mr. Jeff Davis, how is it going, sir? Do you have a note from your doctor?
Yes, I do. I don't know what's going on with my email, but I just got it. So Armando's been running tech support and hooking me up on the back end here.
Awesome.
But I've been listening along as much as I could. I hope you guys are good.
Dr. Cuervo?
Yeah, that was Armando's take. I'm just saying,
He can't accept the email. So did you see that in the beginning about the what we showed about the Lioness show and how they exposed Fauci in China? I was like, what?
I saw the last 45 seconds of it, so I got the gist based on the comments after, but I'll have to go back and watch the very beginning.
Yeah, so he basically tells Nicole Kidman, hey, what would make them not prosecute these people who stopped gain of function under Obama, but yet the funding still got there? It would show you how many people are compromised by China and the federal government. That's essentially the whole of the clip. I was like, I almost crapped myself when I saw that. And then we pulled this up. So you're basically not missing much. We pulled this up. Armando made his announcement that he's going to be doing his project there. And then I pulled up that clip. And then now we have this today again. And this is the question I wanted to ask. So I'll ask you first, and then everybody else can, chime in as well. I'm looking at this today and I'm going, Wait, isn't this somewhat old news? I could have sworn that it was one of these guys that had already pled guilty like a while ago, and I could have sworn it was Morin's, but yet here we are today on the DOJ's website, and it's saying that, he pled guilty. So I don't know. Did you ever remember hearing about this before? I kind of feel like it's been out there.
I mean, I know it's been out there, as we all know it's illegal and they've been doing it, and they said they weren't, but then we found out they were. So the real big issue is, why aren't, people swinging from ropes, like, to be as nice as possible. I said that at work. I remember that everyone looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I was there in 2020, probably the very beginning of 2021, saying Fauci should be swinging from a rope, and at that point he was like their hero, so they didn't really want to hear that.
Yeah, it's true.
But he did write a letter. He did write a very, very nice, polite letter to his boss.
Oh man, well, no, the guy who ran the dealership, so I actually started a proper revolution at my company, and we won.
Yes,
it was great.
Nice.
But yeah, the guy who was over the entire dealership, he tried to chew me out about not wearing a mask, and how, like, me as an unvaccinated person was causing all of this angst. It was like fall of 2021. So we kind of had gotten through everything. We dropped the masks, and then they brought the masks back, and then the unvaccinated were getting sick again. And then they were trying to say that it was, or the vaccinated were getting sick again, and they were trying to blame the unvaccinated. Yeah. And then they were
none of it works the way they people were led to understand it does. None of it works that way.
Yes. And like, I just got back from having COVID for the first and only time, which I contracted from somebody who was vaccinated already. And then they got sick, and then they got me sick. And then he's like, you unvaccinated, whatever, like, going into that. And it was, it was just a really horrible day. Like, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but it was one of those where it was a really horrible day already. And then he decided to go with the dumbest possible lines. And so I just kind of went off on him quite epically at the dealership. Everyone was like kind of freaked out. And then I called my direct boss to tell him the situation, because he refused to fill out a customer's paperwork unless I wore a mask. And I told him no, and they don't work, and I got sick from a vaccinated person. Like, your whole ideology is retarded. And so it was just like a big blow up. And then my boss was kind of like, my hands are tied. I called the other people. They said, you just need to wear a mask. And I was like, okay. And so then I wrote an email to the president of the company and copied the whole company and said some very colorful stuff. And then I got suspended without pay and kicked out of the office. But the next day and every day after that, everyone at the dealership and all of the other departments refused to wear a mask. Every single person. Yeah. So it was like a full-on mutiny. And so I was at home, and after a couple of days, they let me work from home, but I was not allowed to come into the office. And so I was seeing the emails where they were like desperately sending like at everyone messages, please, like, think of everyone and wear your masks and whatever. And like, no one cared at that point. Like, it was a principled stance. And so, and I had like my rats on the inside that were messaging me like what was going on and who was talking about what. And they were like, dude, you don't know what just happened. Like, the people in the warehouse like printed out your email and put it on the like bulletin board, and they're all like riled up. And so anyway, after a few weeks, they were like at everyone, hey, so thankful for everyone's participation, but we're going to be rolling back and getting rid of absolutely every COVID measure that there is. So now we're moving forward. And then I got the call from my boss, and he's like, hey, yeah, you can come in tomorrow now. So like the shit show's over. And then I came back in, and it was like the most glorious hero's welcome ever from the normal people at the office. So it was really cool.
That's awesome. I mean, dude, that's why, you probably whether you know it or not, you probably save some lives. You know what I mean? It's very possible you save
maybe.
some lives. I mean, my coup was more of a silent coup. I didn't have any
Silent coup.
Well, no, it was the people at my work weren't really like forceful, but they were trying to bribe everybody. Like, oh hey, if
Okay.
yeah, you will, like, Jeff, hey, you're this is I had this talk with my boss. He's like, Mike, you're one of 12 people in our place that refuse to get the vaccine. If you go get the vaccine, you will get a $200 gift certificate, and then I'm like, oh, bye, great. And he goes, and then you'll be put into a pool with those 12 people to win a $2,000 gift card. And I'm like, so total $2,200 versus my health and my blood? Nah, no, thank you. But so that was basically the gist of it. I've been telling people not to take the vaccine for as soon as I got back. As soon as I got there, I was like, everybody stay the hell away from this thing. But I mean, but that's a great story, and it encapsulates a little bit of what a lot of us went through. The people screaming 6 feet, people going into a supermarket being accosted because you don't have your mask on, people yelling at you 6 feet, all the while these brainless morons like have no idea they're giving themselves bacterial pneumonia with those masks. You know what I mean? It literally, literally led to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had
Especially the ones that
go ahead, Ghost.
you bought and they're cloth.
Yeah.
And if you didn't wash them every day or twice a day, it was not going to do you much good to begin with. But if you didn't wash it constantly, it wasn't going to do you any good. And people just, again, the lemmings all traveling together. I'll just leave it at this. The ones here that should be imprisoned or hung, they're your sacrificial lambs. Fauci's a sacrificial lamb to the foreign and domestic non-traditional power centers that said yes to this, make this happen now that we have our swine flu and other data in from a decade prior. Collective memory is gone. Start it up, fire it up, get it out there. These are the ones that are trying to take down this country that the administration is going against. I'll just stop right there with that. The ones who finance nations, including ours. And make no mistake, for every type of tragedy or setback, be it a disease, a hurricane, an earthquake, civil disruption, there's many models for profit on all of that. And it's not, oh, don't let a good crisis go to waste. It's much bigger than that. So they'll get the effects they want. All of the data will come in over time. How far are people really willing to revolt against what they know is a bunch of horse shit being shoved down their throats? And all of that data is in, and the profits have been made. And you have a lot of guilty parties on a moral, ethical, legal, lawful, all the levels you can think of. Now, how far this goes will depend on who has leverage on who and who can talk a better deal. And in the end, if we see this nonsense play out and nobody really, not just one or two, or dozens, and stretch it out to the corporate, there are hundreds who are complicit in all of this. And the question everybody has to ask themselves, is anything going to be done to that extent for the first time? And what will we have to go through to get to that point?
Yeah, this just came in, guys. 5 minutes ago, Catherine Herridge, which we all know, she's excellent at what she does. Ex-Fauci advisor pleads guilty. What's in the sealed supplement? So now there's a sealed supplement. I'm telling you, this guy's he's gonna sing like a canary for a lesser sentence. There you have it.
You should wait until all of so he worked with a lot of private corporations, such as water bottling companies.
To your point about this.
Sorry about that. That was supposed to be muted.
No, yeah. So he worked with a lot of companies that supplement companies, water. Crystal Geyser, an example. Would go out and talk to them, and even if you didn't get the vaccine at the time, they were already thinking of ideas of how to put that vaccine into the main water supply.
Oof.
So he was working with a lot of different private organizations. And one thing I want to comment on is, they were looking in the investigation into his Gmail accounts. Is a lot of these people, if they're in the original rings in the IC sector or State Department or NIH, is that a lot of these people would also use AOL, and AOL was always protected by a very serious IC agency. That is something that I shared in the meeting chat, and it's still used to this day. And there's a couple other different ones, but AOL is. So if you see someone's
look at their
name
corporate
up there,
address.
yeah, if you see someone's name up there and they have an AOL address, they more than likely have some heavy connections or protection behind that.
Oh wow, interesting.
I still run an AOL address, but
solid.
Not getting that much protection.
That's hilarious.
I doubt it.
What is this? This is some dude, I guess Jeffrey Tucker here and Naomi Wolf are having a conversation, and they're talking about a meeting that was trying to be made here. This is pretty interesting. So it basically says, Jeffrey Tucker reveals the one favor Anthony Fauci asked of Trump at their very first Oval Office meeting. At Fauci's first meeting in the Oval Office, the very first one, February of 2020, Fauci used all of his capital and credibility to make one ask of Trump, which is on that phone call Trump was going to have with Xi Jinping in the next couple of days. Please ask the president of China if he will host a delegation from the World Health Organization so that Fauci's assistant Clifford Lane could go down and tour Wuhan to observe the greatness of China's lockdowns. He says, I think Tedros, who was WHO Director General. Oh, Mike, go ahead if you want to jump in.
No, I'm just scoffing at Tedros. I that guy.
And I don't know if that was really him though. Was that really him at the bar with the little short shirts on and the short shorts? I don't know if that was him or if that was somebody made to look like him.
Like him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It did look like him.
So again, I wasn't there. I can't tell you for sure. But he says, I think Tedros, the WHO Director General, or whatever his name is there, close to Xi Jinping, wanted to have this meeting. Xi Jinping says the only way we're going to get this meeting is if Trump actually asks him for it personally. So Fauci used his own personal capital to ask Trump to ask Xi Jinping for this meeting. And Wolf says this is gigantic. For all we know, Dr. Fauci was wittingly or unwittingly executing the will of China. First, funding, and as we now know, the gain-of-function research at Wuhan, and then could have been executing the will of China in rolling out this vaccine, which was so murderous to our population. So, just thought that was interesting to bring out. Very, very weird, weird things we've been dealing with for the last many years. Like I would claim to you that think we've seen a lot of weird things in the last 8 or 10 years that I've never seen before. But all of this stuff that they got into, I think, to Ghost's statement, I would pose it more as a question, what are you people willing to do, right? And I think that's going to, come down to us getting very loud and making sure that these people basically take them to task on this stuff, because you can't just let them, give us some low-hanging fruit and say that's it. Like you said, like Ghost said, the people that are funding nations and whatnot that are, generationally doing this stuff for decades, they need to go down. And yeah, we'll take a Fauci and the people that lied knowingly while all this stuff was going on. But anybody have any comments about all this stuff here? But otherwise, I think that's it. All I got on COVID today.
Well, with Fauci, Fauci is up there to be the main guy in front of the cameras and everybody else, but behind the scenes, he wasn't the head of everything. There was other people calling the shots, and I really hope that those people are indicted, arrested. Some way, somehow, are pulled out of those scenes, pulled out of the forest, and brought up to justice.
Yeah, because nothing has caused that much collateral damage in the personal lives of everyone. as far as losing people, as far as disruptions, trouble with marriages, relationships, jobs. Nothing has caused that much collateral damage. Inconvenience, let's say, if you want to, that's a poor term to use. It's World War II, if you think about it, with rationing, et cetera, and the population being much less, and 17 million people being in uniform when you had 175 million population in the country. But that was all for a different thing and completely different. However, what I'm referring to simply is how people's lives were affected. That was completely and totally unnecessary with this lockdown nonsense. This lockdown nonsense was basically a test / psyop to see how people would respond. Well, I think that temperature is rising. Just look at the responses to things like flock cameras, and rightly so. If we are a constitutional nation, which that's a whole nother discussion, I think they are seeing louder voices. Counties are refusing them. Police forces, municipal and county, are refusing them. They don't want them. However, again, I think that was expected. And I think they'll have a lifespan. And when that lifespan is over with, they'll simply go away. Financial incentive won't be there. But for the time being, I think there is a certain necessity for them. Do I agree with it long term, meaning forever? Hell no. And I'll just leave it there.
Mr. Armando, you were going to say something, sir?
Yeah, I saw something earlier today. I think it was coming from the guys here. The Abraham Lincoln and the George Washington aircraft carriers, the mold in the latrines, the food quality that they're serving the Marines and the sailors on board these two carriers and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I spent quite a bit of time on a carrier myself, and we were awarded the Battle E for food excellence. And based on the pictures that I saw today, from Curacao, I believe it was, he had a short out there, and he knows about prison food, right? And he got some photos that came off some of these carriers, and I'm telling you, it looked like dog shit, and not enough of it either. So yeah, expect morale to be very low, especially for the length of deployments that those two carriers have been on over there in the Middle East. Is just unacceptable. I mean, with all the fraud and all the money that is being extorted, billions of dollars, and you can't supply our troops with adequate food. Oh, but they're scared to give you C-rats or MREs, okay? Because they're very high in caloric, like 4,000 calories. Well, yeah, you need the freaking strength if you're going to be out there fighting, duh, right? But no, they're feeding them substandard food. I mean, come on, seriously? So yeah, we got problems. We got a lot of problems everywhere, man. They're just not being addressed. They're not. They're just sugarcoating everything, peddling freaking propaganda and stuff like that. Oh, everything's great. Everything is wonderful, right? There's sunshine and lollipops for everyone. And by the way, the unicorns are farting rainbows too. So don't worry. There's nothing to see here. Please give me a break.
It's funny that you talk about that, is because within, the Army, over at the Army DFAC facilities, very similar to the Navy's, I go up and get your food. I've seen a decline in the quality of service, quality of preparation, what they're serving. It's comparison from today to 5 years ago, even 8 years ago. It's about 100%. I have to say it's 100% different from the food quality that you're getting, even over at the DFAC. Even if you go into to the PX, you're not getting. if you go on the PX, you have more booze, protein bars, protein powders, and workout supplements than you do of regular nutritional food items such as sandwiches, whatever it may be. And this is just from a couple different PXs, DFACs that I've been to. And so to see what the sailors and the Marines that are getting right now, it actually adds on to what I'm seeing. And that's a huge problem. That's got to be rectified.
Right. But you hit the nail on the head, Doc, when you said 8 years ago. Who was in office 8 years ago? The question, who was in office 8 years ago? We all know who. And you're going to sit here and tell me that they had better quality of life and standards, especially with food 8 years ago than today? Something's wrong. I'm telling you, something is deeply wrong here.
And who does that fall down on? The Secretary of Defense? Exactly. Like, who would be the main person? He would be responsible for the whole of the military, right?
Well, no, you could look at the Secretary of the Army, Secretary of the Navy. You have Secretary of Defense, who is overlaps all of them. There's quite a few people to look at, but yeah, for something like this, you absolutely want to start from the top down, because that's where you're going to find where whoever's doing something effed up, you're going to find it that way, not from the bottom up. From the bottom up, you're not going to really find anything. People are just moving food and cargo off one ship into another, or from one truck, into the LRC facilities, and then moving it around. So it's got to come from the top down investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
then you need to take a look at people who are in charge of dispersing, provisions,
contracts,
logistics. You need to look at all of that, right, and see where the where the broken spoke in the wheel is, right? Because it's broken. Trust me. How can you have mold, like black mold, growing in a freaking in the John? I mean, come on. I'm telling you, man, shipboard duty, I'm telling you, your chiefs would have been all over your six. If you walked in there, to coin the phrase from Full Metal Jacket, I want those latrines to shine so bright, the Virgin Mary will be honored to take a shit in my latrine.
Yeah.
They had to smell sanitized. They had to be spotless. I'm telling you. And black mold, I mean, really?
Yeah. Well, even with military bases, you have environmental officers, environmental scientists that go down and take samples of tap water. So if that's going on, then what are the environmental scientists doing that are supposed to be, making sure our service members are safe and healthy? That's a big question I have.
And what ship is this? Is this the Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln and the George Washington. What's his name? I got it. I got the man. Now
you're talking about Carico, right? The Carico video.
Yeah, Carico put an Instagram video out there.
He's very all right. So here's what I'm saying, and I don't know what's what. So where are the videos and the evidence and videos of the black mold and the food and all these are these verified things? Well, I'm saying he's got it. To be honest with you, Armando, I don't really trust John Carico too much, to be honest with you, especially lately. Just only with this. Let me get my sentiment out. With what we have here, and like you said, if this stuff is going on for 8-10 years or whatever it is, why are we only getting all these the explosion of the reporting of this stuff lately? Like, you'd think it would be going on for 10 years or so. So I'm saying, is he pushing a narrative of like the let's get out of Iran stuff? I'm just putting something out there, you know what I mean, for you guys to chew on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think so, because I'm going to be a little devil's advocate here, because I have seen videos like a while ago, like months and months ago, okay, before we did the whole invasion again of the Straits, where there were people accidentally falling overboard from a flight deck. Okay. I mean, that's a 90-foot drop at minimum. Nuke carrier probably a little bit higher than that. you just don't jump off a carrier because, oopsie, I had a problem. No, there's been a lot of reports on that lately, and it's been all over mainstream. Okay. And also the condition, the sewage backups, the pump's not running right. Things happen. I get it, but not to this extent. And based on the pictures and the videos that were leaked to this guy, I've been on board ship. I know what they look like. This is not AI generated or anything like that. This shit is the real deal. There are certain things that you look at that like, yeah, that makes sense. That connects. There's not much changes,
We do,
I would also factor in a few things. The metal of the young people in the forces is not the same as it was 15,
agreed.
20 years ago. They're softies and, fat bellies, as the drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket would say, fat bodies, things like that. And they're just of a weaker caliber. And I hate to say it, but it's true.
Let me look for it.
And then the three most important things before training, before anything, is food, lodging, and medical care. As long as that's there and they're in the right way, everything else works well. I'd really like to see what's really going on with food, and because if it has deteriorated, someone's doing that by design. That's not how you cheapen. That's not how you save on a combat unit's budget, or a base rather, because that's usually an activity that the base handles, or depending on where you are and what you're doing, of course. But overall,
base,
that's not a good thing if they're skimping on nutrition.
The Kiriakou video. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this guy is more in the Tucker lane lately, if I'm being honest, is why I'm having my trepidations with him.
No, I get it, man. But what he's actually talking about, I mean, these videos, in my opinion, I could be whatever, right?
Yeah.
They look real. And I've read other material and other reports about, complaints and morale being low. And I understand. I mean, 8-9 month deployment, for me, even a 12-month deployment was my longest one. You just suck it up, man. I mean, spending Christmas and New Year's out in the middle of the Indian Ocean is one thing, but, for 8 months or 6 months deployments, to have these living conditions, no, I'm sorry, I ain't buying it.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to Mr. Kiriakou, and I would love to hear everybody's feelings on this, and then also in the chat as well. Let me refresh this and unveil Mr. Kiriakou. Here we go. Oh, sorry, hold on. So he's starting off saying everybody's lying,
Except
lying.
the top people at the White House and the Pentagon. And again, the White House knows it has a problem bad enough that it needs to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln. But it gets worse. Conditions on the USS George Washington don't look any better. You've got to see some of these pictures. This is what they're eating on the USS George Washington. Does it look any better than what our sailors and Marines are eating on the USS Abraham Lincoln? Not to me, it doesn't. Not at all better.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
That's an empanada, and that looks like dog food to me. I don't know.
It looks like shit, dude.
Yeah, who served?
Man.
Yeah, picky. Like, that looks awful.
That does look awful. And would you receive this like this? Like, besides the food?
If that's Philly cheesesteak, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that whatever this is all wet underneath, like, I would be like, no, I'm not taking a wet plate with this disgusting slop. Even if it was like a great looking food and it was wet like this, no, bye-bye.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's normal. The plates, they're always under steam. They could have just been cleaned and they put them on a rack. And as you go down the food lane, you just grab a tray, and you can tell they were clean because they've been pressure washed.
Food.
That's normal.
They're
telling you,
practically sterilized.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've been sterilized.
I don't know how to go back on these.
But look, it's an empanada. I know what that is.
This right here, by the way, I've had burgers like
this.
They
look like a cow patty.
It looks
Is that
like
a cow
gloomy.
patty? That's an Indian steak.
You make a
What it
smash
looks
burger.
like,
You make a smash burger. It could look like that.
Oh,
But that, whatever that
yeah,
is,
man.
whatever
it does
whatever
look
that
like
is
little
gross.
empanadas or pot stickers is what it's supposed to be. Some kind
Well,
of
shit,
horrible
they
version
look
of
like
those.
empanadas to me, but I think they could be pot stickers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting
It'd be
timing
some
too.
kind of half-ass pierogi or something like that.
No, bro, that's even worse.
How do I
Pot
spell it?
stickers is basically chink
Yeah,
fast
I know.
food.
Yeah.
So you got pot stickers and alien membrane for
Ugh.
protein.
Come on, Doc. That's Philly cheesesteak, man. Look
I
at
think
it.
that's I think that's
Looks like
alien puke.
membrane.
I got an interesting clip of this guy too. This
But
is, my buddy sent me
let's
this.
see what he says. I mean,
Well, he's talking about the food, and then he talks about in prison, and then he talks about how whoops, we gave you dog food for prison food on accident. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
wait
don't
till you
think-
see. Wait till
I
you
don't
see a
think
picture of
John
the
is
head with the
coming
black
out.
nose.
I don't
There
think
you go.
John is coming out with anything unless he's pretty sure of himself on it. That's just the kind of guy he strikes me as.
Or paid to do so, maybe.
There you
Never
go.
know, but I don't
That's
think so. But
disgusting.
If that's somebody's bathroom on a ship, then the
Yeah,
captain of the
so
ship needs
that's-
to be gone.
That's
So
the
looking at-
head. That's the head, bro. And
Yeah.
you have multiple stalls with a curtain in the front, obviously pulled back. The toilet paper hangs on a freaking wire cord that runs through the back of all of them. They just shove rolls of toilet paper behind that. You just pick a roll and go for it, right?
Yeah, but Armando, I mean, looking at this, I mean, you know how long that would take to grow like
you
that?
get like that, yeah.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
take years to get.
And
like
what am I
that.
saying? This
Months
is
to years.
that
Oh,
is a lack.
God.
That is a lack of maintenance.
That's a toilet
Period.
that hasn't been used in 20 years.
Yeah, I could. That's what I was just gonna say. I could say that they shut down a certain, a toilet section that's been under maintenance for 12 months, 8 months, and someone
Yep.
goes in there for pictures to use as PR stunt.
Yep.
That's just my thinking.
That's lack of maintenance, because listen, when you're on an ocean board vessel, especially military type, the biggest thing that you're always fighting is corrosion. Corrosion on aircraft, corrosion on bulkheads, and you're always chipping and grinding freaking paint, and you're retaking, especially when you go into a mini SRA, like we used to go to in Subic Bay over in the Philippines, right? That was our second home port, right? So we will be in for 2 weeks. Well, why 2 weeks? Well, we did a mini SRA, which was what? Chip and grind, right? And paint. And stay on top of maintenance, man, because salt water is a bitch. I don't care what you do, especially our airframes and power plants people in AIMD. That's all they did, man. I used to run what they call Magnaflux scans on our arresting gear in the front, or the pylons, for the ordnance, because you had to look for stress cracks, you had to look for corrosion, you had to look for all that shit.
Yeah, and on top of that, what you're saying is you have to run the whole public health section on top of that as well.
Correct.
On a ship, or even on a base, you can't. Everyone can't be getting sick. So it's everything combined together. What Armando's saying, it's especially the health portion of it. You can't have service members getting sick. That will deteriorate the mission, the quality of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a lot of
Bathroom
folks.
was a biohazard.
We got a lot of
Now,
folks in the
if you-
chat not buying this, saying,
Yeah, no. Hey, look, I don't blame him for not buying it, but the fact that Ghost said it perfectly before.
Yeah.
Okay, our military what we were a part of many years ago is not the same that we have today. Unfortunately and sadly, the grit of the personnel is not the same. I get it. 7-8 months of deployment for some of these younger people, man. It's like, oh my God, we're stressed out. We're at war. We want to go home. We're tired of this shit. So let's not do maintenance. Let's purposely sabotage. There were reports of people shoving socks, underwear, T-shirts.
I've seen that done. I've had to
In the-
reprimand people for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, so I'm not crazy.
Wow.
Shoving this into the sewage system, which created what? Blockages. And that would explain some of these pictures and these videos. And there you have it. And then people are like sandbagging too. It's like, hey, man, it's your turn to clean the head today. Okay, man, I'll do it. They don't do it. But there's no follow-up, right? Because it's just not there anymore. There's no more pride and professionalism And I started seeing that towards the very end of my 8-year hitch, right? It was just, you can just tell. It was a different mentality coming in. It just was. Now, this could all be, again, like you said, Spaceshot propaganda to get the ships out of the Middle East and bring them home. That could very well be true. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter, what would drive somebody to shove T-shirts and underwear in the sewage pipes, knowing and block up a quarter of the ship? You're just sabotaging yourself. Where are you going to go take a dump? Hang your ass off of the freaking, catch wire off the flight deck? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, and then I'm going to cut you in Article 15.
Thank you.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, here's the only reason I brought this up too is literally my co-host from yesterday, literally before the show, he posts out, I don't know if John Carrico is being genuine. I don't know if he's who he says he is, but he also dropped this clip as well. So let's just listen to a little bit of this.
An Iranian contact of mine asked me months ago, if I would introduce him to Tucker because President Pezeshkian wanted to interview him. So I did. I put Tucker in charge with Pezeshkian's office, and they were trying to work out an interview. They ended up having the Iranian foreign minister meet with Tucker in Muscat.
So this dude's got some connections, and that's what I'm saying is I think he's a little bit too chummy with Mr. Tucker lately and everything. Mm-hmm. This whole video starts off with, oh, Tucker heard that he may have been, criminally referred and blah, 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 blah. And that's what this whole shtick is about. But then that he connected Iranian officials with Tucker Carlson. So again, this is the very first thing that he said in the very beginning of that TikTok that you brought up, right? Everybody's lying except for, and we don't know who's lying and who's telling the truth. That's all I'm saying is I don't know to trust this guy or to not,
Right. He could also be a professional disinformation asset.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. I've ran into a couple of those over the course of my years. And actually 2 of them, that when I found out they were disinformation officers in the sections and departments they're working in, I was shocked. I was shocked, especially in the USAP programs. And when I learned that they're disinformation officers, they were not my friend anymore. They were not. There's just, when you cross that line, it's a bad bridge to burn.
We got problem, brothers. I'm telling you, we got problems, man.
No.
Definitely.
But Space, I can agree with you. I do.
Yeah, it's we're not going to know until we know, right? When it's the end, we'll find out who was doing what. And here's the funny thing at the end of the day, right? Like a lot of people or most people even bash Tucker on our side, and I'm like, well, he's kind of a necessary evil, like air quotes. I'm even calling that an air quote evil because I don't know that genuinely he's bad. I don't know if they're trying to gin up all this stuff for exposing all of the Iran-Israel stuff because at the end of the day, it really does need to be. And it's, again, not the people, it's the government. Just like I didn't like the government under Obama, but I love the people of America, of course, right? So it's the same difference there. There's a lot of stuff being exposed. But hey, guys, remember, I think last week we touched on this, and I think I'll have to unmute. The weird part is earlier I unmuted it and it still didn't play, but let's see if it works today. This is, again, in response to my good Democrat friend who says again, no, that doesn't happen. You can't do that. Look, you guys just saw me unmute it, right? You guys just saw me unmute the friggin' site. I'm going to unmute the whole tab this time here. Unmute site. There we go. So listen to this. This is training for elections.
Ask them for their name and address. Do not ask a voter to look at the roster themselves to locate their name. Do not ask them to see an identification card. However, if a voter presents identification, thank the voter and inform them that an identification card is not required if they are registered. This announcement is not only for the voter in front of you, but for other voters in line who should not feel required to produce an identification card. In some circumstances, the identification card might be helpful, but make it clear that it is not required. The voter may say that they have a difficult name to spell and provide their identification to make the process easier to find their name. Or a voter might have problems speaking and so the identification serves as their way of communicating their name and address. Once you know the name and address of the voter, and you are using a paper roster, search and find the voter's name.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, we got out what I wanted to get out in the beginning, which was the point of, to my friend, oh, dude, they're not even checking people's IDs. And his response to this was, oh, but the key word here is once they're registered. And I'm like, yeah, but then they can bring 8 friends with them, and they can. Who knows if who's going to the friggin'? Who's going to the? Oh, right, we have person. All right, we have person A, Armando here. He's registered to vote, and then person J, Jeff, goes and shows up and says, hey, I'm Armando Gonzalez. This is where I live. Okay, here's your thing. You want to vote? Have a nice day. And it does. You know what I mean? They can register all these people to vote, and people just show up and say, I'm this person, and I can vote, and nobody's checking to see anything. But again, I'm the crazy guy.
And that's happening. That's happening here in California as we speak.
I should try. Hello, my name is Ahmed. I kill you. I want to.
Dude, did you guys see the James O'Keefe with the other guy, and they went to test that?
Yeah.
And says so he was using the worst accent ever, and then his friend, who's even bigger than James O'Keefe, who's a big guy, was wearing a full burqa, and and he was the woman who James O'Keefe's bad Middle Eastern accent was vouching for without ID. And it's a guy in a burqa who's like 6.5 feet tall. and the workers there are like, yeah, it's fine. You could actually vouch for 8 people. It was crazy. Yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh.
Hey, and no ID needed. No ID needed at all, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, dude, this is it's wild. I mean, I think we may have talked about it last week, but again, it was the same, Democrat friend that James O'Keefe went to another place in like Detroit, Michigan area, and said he was Eminem, right? And she goes, oh, are you related to that certain somebody? And he goes, oh, no, I get that all the time. All right, I get a phone call, I gotta go. And my buddy's like, what? Nothing happened. He didn't vote. I'm like, yeah, if he did, it would have been illegal, but they were sure gonna let him. So yeah, dude, this is being exposed at record pace, and for all the people that are slow, the momos in the back of the bus, this is perfectly highlighting double M, M-O-M-O, M as in Mike, M as in Mike, Momo, not the H-O-M-O, but momos. Yeah, that's my abbreviated word for morons. Momos. Oh God. Yeah, I can thank my mother for that one and the naming of my channel, because she called me her little space shot. If that gives you any indication.
Yeah, it's the best way. That's
not to be confused with the Jersey, the mullahs, right? Mullahs.
Young mullah, baby.
The moolies.
Oh God. You want to hear a funny thing? And this is basically and there's not anything to do with what I just pulled up on the screen. This is me working with an older Italian guy. Right. And we had a couple of Africans that were working with us. They were literally from Africa. And it was one of the African guys I was working with. Actually, no, I wasn't even with him. It was one of the African guys and another newer guy who was a white kid. Right. And this other guy, Joe, old Italian guy, doesn't mean anything bad by what I'm about to say. Had no idea this was a bad term. He comes up, gets off the elevator. He's like, oh, what are you two porch monkeys doing? He's like, I'm like, Joe. He's like, what? I'm like, dude. I'm like, come over here. I'm like, dude, you can't say that. He's like, what? I'm like, porch monkeys? He goes, what? He was like, the guys all hanging out on the stoops of their house. He goes, I'm like, dude, you have no idea that's like a black reference. People used to derogatorily say that to African Americans, call them that word specifically. And he's like, no, in my neighborhood, it was always, all the kids hanging out on the stoops of their houses. I'm like, yeah, times changed a little bit, buddy.
No.
Joe's bringing it back.
Yeah,
Joe's bringing back the new reference of the moolies. The moolies, the moolies.
Yeah, you just don't put certain state names in front of that, and then because it becomes even worse.
Okay. All right.
Just reminding folks, there's no negative here.
With that in mind, because we're a very welcoming country, and I feel like to Armando's point last year, he speak English very good. You speak English muy bien. He speaks perfect English. Another girl I know who came to America from Brazil, and here's the weird part: for 3 years I knew this girl, no idea she was Brazilian. That's how good her English was. She's on the phone talking with her mother one day, like, "Bushkish Bereshk." I'm like, what the hell? Oh, you didn't know I was Brazilian? I'm like, oh, that's weird. But hey, the things that we don't want here are the violent type of people with, I don't know, Sharia law. Natalie Winters, war room correspondent here. Pennsylvania awarded $5 million to expand an Islamic school whose handbook declared our culture is toxic to Muslims. That's our culture, the American culture.
Yeah.
It teaches fiqh, the jurisprudence of Sharia, and tells students to carry the message of Islam to Americans. It says also its mosque has a terror link. Men later convicted in the Fort Dix terror plot attended Al-Aqsa's or Aqsa's, whatever you want to say, parent Islamic Society. DOJ say they trained with weapons, surveilled targets, and conspired to murder U.S. troops. 3 received life sentences and had been roofing its mosque for free before their arrests. A guest imam at the same mosque was translated telling worshippers that Muslims would impose the word of Islam upon the world. And it said the state did not disguise what it was funding. It says it was made for the Al-Aqsa school expansion, and they wanted to go from 300 students to a target of 3,000. Yay. Isn't that nice, guys?
But you know what's crazy about that is that's actually a real big thing that's going on right now. In a lot of states, because I've seen the FBI bulletin reports on just exactly this, and even with the private sector office and directorate, that's actually a big thing they're looking into. Is the spread of the it's not as I guess you could qualify it as the spread of Islamic fundamentalism, but when they're using it as their fundamentalism, if I could say the dang word, they write it down and do it in such a way that they're able to get grant money or whatever type of money it is and approval to help out with their mosque. But behind the scenes, this is exactly what a lot of them. The bad actors that are doing, and that really hits home, because it makes me, when I'm reading that off the FBI bulletin, it's like, okay, how many others are out there that we don't know about? And then if you go back to when Biden let everybody in, all the terrorist insurgents that were coming in through the border, whichever way they came in, now some of these people were coming to find out that that are on the board, the target board, to go after. These are some of the people that are actually in charge of cultivating all of this. And it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing going on.
Absolutely. And from what I understand too, a lot of these people have been here for quite a while, and they're building up these mosques and whatnot. But a lot of them have been here for even before Biden. But they are definitely now starting to put up the mosque and put up I guess for a lack of better terms, the exposure of the fact that they are here is kind of been going wild lately too. So that's always a good thing. But we need to for sure keep this loud for the folks out there. And people. These people particularly, and I've talked about it before, in 1786, our representatives went out there, right? And they said, why do these Muslim countries attack our country? We've done nothing to hurt you. And they said, essentially, the Quran tells us that we're supposed to. So, essentially kiss our ass and beat it.
But the problem is that they're using a different tactic now, okay? They're doing like the Chinese. They're playing long ball. Is what they're doing, and they've been doing it for a long time. And it all started back with Daddy Bush, okay, bringing the Muslim Brotherhood into the arms of the White House, right? Because they needed to counter what? The Israelis, right? They needed to find that balancing act. What they didn't know back at the time is that they hate each other. So what good was that going to do? We had a whole piece on that going all the way back then, okay? So the tactic here is not necessarily kinetic. It's infiltration at the local level into local politics, into law, and that's how their incursion, if you will, is actually happening. They're using the law, right? They're using the legal system to be able to get loans, get grants, get building permits, get this, get that, get into America is wonderful. America is good.
Well, you also have to remember the brainwashing. You know, as you have these new people coming into the mosque asking questions, you know, it's think of Scientology. It's effectively they're doing the same things as what Scientology would do. Is these new apparitioners coming in, is they're brainwashing these people to their ideology without these new apparitioners, or these new people coming into the mosque, without them even without them knowing what's really happening. And that's the unfortunate side, because they're not able to see the red flags when those red flags are presented, and then they become a black flag.
You don't even need to go to the mosque, Doc. All you got to do is come to my county, come into my educational system, and just walk the schools.
Right? Yeah,
that's where the recruitment and the indoctrination process happens.
It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Yeah,
they've embraced basically human intelligence operations. Allah tells them they can lie to the infidel, so they can misrepresent their lives in every way, shape, or form, and become part of the local school board while lying about what they're really doing, about what they really feel and what they really think. And it's classic, and it's so obvious right now. That's what they're doing in a lot of places. Yeah, and the more they get ingrained into like law enforcement or things like that, then we're the city council, then we've really got some problems.
Just ask Jeff. Jeff, remember a long while back ago, right? When we were having a conversation about the very same thing, about the infiltration into the educational system. What did I tell you? I said, you watch, we're going to have halal foods pretty soon on the school lunch menu.
Yep.
What was your answer? No way. And when it happened, was there, you sent me a picture of the school lunch menu in the cafeteria highlighted with a big old letter, WTF. I said, I told you. Halal cheeseburgers. Come on, baby. Woohoo.
Yeah. Wow. And I just looked it up while you were talking about that. It's called taqiyya. And that is the Islamic, right. It's the Islamic concept referring to the permissible concealment or denial of one's faith or related practices under certain conditions, primarily when facing persecution, threat of death, or severe harm. So they know that if we knew in mass what they believe, that we wouldn't allow them, so they lie about it. That's the long and the short of it.
Now, if you really look at it at brass tacks, they pray 5 times a day. 5 times a day. Okay? So, little, what I'm not going to use derogatory names, but let's just say Billy Stan and Patty Stan, all right? They 2:00 comes, right? They get their prayer rugs, they go to the cafeteria when the cafeteria is shut down, lights are out, tables are folded, nobody's around, and they walk in, they drop the rugs on the floor, and they start praying to Mecca at 2 p.m. What kind of message does that send to the American kids that are there? Well, how come these two get a pass and we can't even pray to God anymore in a classroom, to Jesus? Well, no, Jesus is not allowed, but Allah gets a pass. Yeah. And then what happens then? Then those kids develop a curiosity, like Spaceshot was saying here, right? Yeah. They develop a curiosity and they start asking questions. Hey, what is so special about this? What's so special about what you do? Oh, you need to come to a meeting of ours. We're going to have a meeting. Just come on out,
honey drips from their mouths with the lies just to get you. Once they've got you, they've got you.
Yeah. Have a piece of goat meat, and just come on out, man. It's going to be cool. I'm telling you. And there you go. Yeah. And there's the recruitment. There's the conversion. There's the fortification of the mind. Okay. To do Allah's will, which is what? Wreak havoc and create terror. Sorry, I said it.
Because there's
your homegrown terrorism.
That's what a loving God wants all of us to do. Lie, cheat, steal, and kill each other. I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
There's your homegrown terrorism.
Yeah, and it'll softly embed itself, and it has been for decades. Let's be honest. And
yeah,
I dropped in the group phone chat space an example for the Momos, the shortest short bus.
Okay, let me.
You'll find, and the perfect person getting out of it too.
Where the heck is it? Wait, hold on. I see laughs and giggles. I see laughed at an image. I see
Don't
that Mike
tell
laughed
me you're
at
not
it.
receiving it again.
Yep, not receiving. Try on the regular
You know
one,
what?
just to me.
Let's
See if that works. I'll text you here.
Yeah.
But while that's coming across, Jeff, I sent you a message in the Zoom chat. I need a little assistance on that. Okay, if you can, because that was
I'll
weird.
look into that. I just saw that.
But here's another place in which they recruit as well. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but where would they recruit some white boys at, you think? Because I've actually seen this. Well, I've personally not seen it. I've heard of this. Prison, right? You go into prison and say you're a white dude and you're not ganged up or whatever. You basically got to make yourself a choice. Are you going to be hanging with the skinheads? Are you going to go hang with the homies? Well, the homies ain't going to let you hang with them. The Mexicans aren't going to let you hang with them. The Muslims will, or the skinheads will. So you basically got your choice. Either you get your ass kicked, a lot, or you team up with the skinheads, or you team up with the muzzies. And that is a thing. That really is a thing. I know a kid growing up who went to jail for a couple of years and came out and started calling himself Al Sayed something or whatever. I'm like, what the frig? Oh, yeah, no, they were nice guys, and, they took care of me in prison and stuff. And I'm like, and you're still a Muslim though? Like, what
I've
the
already
frig?
I've already got the haircuts, so I guess I'd have to go with the skins.
What's your name? Al Sayed West Saeed?
West Side. Oh God, it's wild.
Oh boy, yeah.
It is wild. Let me see. Oh wait, actually.
Through?
Oh wait, did it? Yeah. Hold on, here we go. My bus, my bus. Okay, I got them. Now I got them. Hold on, I just gotta save them and bring them over.
It's the perfect image for your Momo reference. It's a very, very short bus.
That looks like AOC a little bit too. That other one.
That's what.
Am I supposed to bring them both on? Okay, it is.
If you want, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hold on 1 sec. Finally.
A little levity.
Well, and one thing about mosques too is if, and I've been on different warrants and raids, is some of these mosques will have large armories within them. Lots of small arms, long guns. We found grenades in there. We found all sorts of things.
RPGs.
It's insane. Jeez, oh boy.
That's a short bus.
Oh boy. What about my bus?
She's looking for it. Where's my bus?
Oh my word. We
The
can't.
hee-haw donkey looks better than she does, I got to tell you.
Dude, where did you guys get the picture from? Providence Hill Schools District? Providence, that's Rhode Island.
I just saw someone sent it to me a long time ago, and I keep a folder full of these funny things.
I love it. Well, I got something for you guys. Now let's say, all right,
she's an idiot if there ever was one. She is a moron.
Or is she an evil genius?
Don't you just love little yellow school buses?
Her IQ is not above 90.
She's like a scientist or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but she does own a 2026 BMW IC3Q, whatever it is, $180,000 car. But she lives in a Section 8 housing.
Oh, that's cute.
She's doing the grift game very well.
That's typical communist tactic, bro.
Goodness.
All
right.
You got 7 Series BMWs rolling in Havana. Guess who owns them? State.
Oh, that's so disgusting. They should just freaking pull them right out of that thing. Now, guys, let's just say a couple of you guys may have. Well, let's just leave it like this. Some of you guys may have worked with some people in the past that may have done some, let's say, spy work or things along those lines. All right. I just want you guys to give me a let's just say if you were in a position where you were going to go over a border and you're going to try to sneak into a country, what rings weird about this to you guys? And for me, I'm not military, not anything, but this was right off the bat extremely very odd. And this came back from the border crossing times back in 21, 22, whatever that time frame was. But listen to what this guy says. I'm just like,
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
You are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am.
you are not smart enough to know who I am. I am sneaking into your country, and I am going to make a big kaboom. But soon you will know who I am. This whole interaction was very weird to me. Right?
I remember that. I remember seeing that.
Wouldn't that be like the last thing you would ever want to do is bring attention to yourself?
Yeah, you'd be shying off the camera. You'd be dressed just like everybody else, shying away from the camera, or just looking like you're having a melancholy average day, whatever. But you wouldn't be saying doing that.
Right?
Fear propaganda.
That at all?
Well, yeah,
it's propaganda. Fear propaganda.
When you infiltrate a country and dumb it down in an undercover status, you're going in as the gray man.
Right?
Yeah, you got a sweater. You're wearing the clothing that's in the nature of the country you're going into. You're covered up, as best head to toe. Make sure that if you have tattoos, your tattoos are covered up. Predominantly, more of the heavier IC people in that capacity are not going to have any tattoos at all. And yeah, you're going to go on as the gray man. You're going to wear a ball cap. It goes all the way down to the
shoes.
It goes down to your shoes, but the coloring of your clothes. It's going to be very minute. You're going to wear grayscale. You're going to wear things that don't stick, colors that don't stick out, and
faded tones. You're not going to wear a cream sweater over with black pants, and you just don't want people looking at you twice. You don't even want them looking at you once.
Yeah,
and you better have a lot of BO too, so you smell ripe.
Whatever it takes.
True.
Yeah, I'm serious.
No,
I just crossed the Getty and Dap, my friend. It's hot.
Yeah, there was a time, in South America where I had my hair down to my shoulders. I had a full beard. I smelled nasty. I looked like a local. I very tan. I came home. My dad didn't even recognize me.
Habla español?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Poquito. Yeah, star foreigner. But this dude here, apparently, if this recording is right, looks a little skinnier in the face. I don't know if that is this guy, but again, I don't know. I just look at this, we see all these people, these millions of people coming through the border that made all these 3,000-mile, treks that come back with clothes that look perfect. The white sneakers don't look dirty at all. And then you got this jerk off who's the spy master of the century saying, "Oh, you don't know who I am, but wait, you will soon see." I'm just like, this has got to be a blinking neon light, for something out there. But that was just a little.
He looks too fresh, man. If you just look at his clothes, the way he's wearing his clothes, he just looks too fresh, too clean. He was dropped off. It was a fear propaganda campaign. Oh my God, they're invading us. We're scared,
Yeah, he's making a statement.
Bullshit.
He's making a big statement to the world. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable what we've experienced these last many years. But here's a fun one, guys. Actually, let's do a funny one quick. We'll do a funny, then a fun. Pete Santilli put this out.
Has anything changed with inside of the company ever since this reporting came out?
No, what we're finding is just a slew of whistleblowers like Merle who have.
Any guesses what her last name is talking like? I had no idea he had a daughter or a wife. I don't know.
I thought it was a really rude mocking situation for a second. I'm just like, this is not a classy way to go about telling jokes.
Apparently it's Rory Kennedy. So is that a sister or a daughter? I don't know, to be honest with you, but it's got to be Robert F. Kennedy's daughter is my guess.
RFK.
or his
Fauci and a Chinaman go into a bar. You wouldn't say it like that.
let me see here. I just want to make sure we get that is get who exactly this woman is. Rory Kennedy, in fact, All right, let's listen to this and I'll get you that information, but here you go.
Out of the company ever since this reporting came out?
No, what we're finding is just a slew of whistleblowers like Merle who have come forward voicing concerns about what's going on inside of Boeing. You saw that clip with people in the factory. In that clip, they're asked, would you fly one of these planes? These are the people who are making the planes. And they're saying, there's no way, even if you gave me a free trip around the world, there's no way I'm getting on these planes. And they're the people who are building them. So, that's a concern, I think, for all of us who do fly and our families who fly.
You guys planning any trips anytime soon? And that's a younger sister to Robert F. Kennedy. And apparently
her hand gestures are exactly the same.
Dude,
look at her body language.
Tough.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Seems like a...
Well, you remember the last Boeing whistleblower that came out, and he mysteriously ended up suicided.
Oh, that seems to happen quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Another one.
Oh, Boeing. How long ago was that? Do you guys remember?
I think like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What they really should be talking about, instead of the aircraft itself, how about the air traffic controllers and the shortage that there's there, and how long it actually takes to go through the process before you get your own tower, right? That's what they need to be talking about, because they have a serious deficit in air traffic controllers. They do.
Wow.
Unless you want to import them on an H-1B from India.
No,
I'd rather give it to AI.
Who was I talking to recently? Was it one of you guys, or was somebody that was telling me they're using kids who are really good gamers, in their early 20s, mid 20s, that have been gamers their whole life. They're actually outperforming air traffic controllers who've been doing it for 20 years.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
That's a creative use of a resource.
You guys see the
sleeping on it.
The boomer there that plays. Maybe Jeff, you're a little more into gaming lately than me. I used to be big time into it, but there's like an older guy. They always say, oh, he's a World War II veteran or whatever, but he's like a sniper dude. The dude's nasty.
The grandpa gaming, that guy's crazy, and he'll tell you about it. He's like, and the way he talks about it, they always make the jokes. They're like, he doesn't have PTSD, he has nostalgia. And so he's just like he'll just crack a skull from across the map with like a massive bullet drop and just arc it in there and get the headshot on a moving target. And then he'll be like, ha!
Yeah, he's like, ha ha.
This guy's in his 70s. I mean, it's hilarious to watch. It is, actually.
Is this a video? Yeah, I mean, but comes down to experience there. A little bit of experience.
And it never ceases to amaze me. So many people now over the years have said, look, I'm dropping this information and I'm not suicidal in any way, shape, or form. And they all wind up suicided. And nothing much ever gets done.
Yep.
I used to work long ago. I was actually 16, 17 years old. I was working at Zayre's. It used to be a department store outside Homestead Air Force Base years ago. And we had an air traffic controller that worked in my department. He was there part-time. Sometimes he would come in uniform. Sometimes he wouldn't, right? And I found out that he was an ATC. And it's like, dude, so tell me about your job. And he goes, okay, I'm going to break it down to you in very, very simple language, son. You got me? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, you got a big circle thing made out of glass, okay? And you got a lot of dots there. As long as you keep those dots away from connecting with each other, you're good to go. If they connect, you got a problem. I said, okay.
Thumbs during the day and alcohol in the evening.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Don't let the dots touch each other.
Yeah.
I'm over here talking into a not working mic. I'll say the system that they were using was quite antiquated as well, right? I don't know if they've ever updated that lately. I know they were talking about doing it.
I think they're in the process of it.
This is a little bit of a clip here. I think we got maybe a minute clip here.
You remember some of the
This is a 4-minute clip, but we're going to listen to about a minute and a half of this here.
major noise protests? Well, apparently at this one in downtown Minneapolis in early January, there were undercover officers with Homeland Security monitoring the crowd. How do we know that? Well, in that case against 15 people accused of conspiring to impede the federal government in that immigration crackdown, one of the defense attorneys demanded more evidence from the government. So we now have these public documents that detail their surveillance techniques on various individuals and local organizations throughout Operation Metro Surge. So starting in late November, HSI started to keep tabs on people or groups that they deemed to be violent opportunists or agitators. So they started having undercover agents sit in on local community meetings, and that included one with Unidos in Richfield in early December. Their executive director told me that they had a suspicion that there might be undercover people in the crowd, and now they know for sure that they were being monitored while they were giving tips to people on their constitutional rights when they were going.
So what they're saying here is that these people, CBS News, it says, accidentally revealed that an NGO in Minnesota called Unidos Minnesota was holding protest training seminars and instructing protesters on how to oppose ICE. And, you know, the big part of this story is that, you know, unbeknownst to them, well, later on they did find out that they had assets of, say, the government in there. And I would pose that that's probably more of a regular occurrence thing than people would generally know, right? And so it's kind of like, oh, wow, they put people in there to monitor this. They do this stuff all the time, right, guys?
Oh, yeah, very much.
Yep. And, I mean, you guys talked about in the past of you know, how would you go about, like, you just visually identify these people and then maybe try to get the license plates and stuff? I mean, obviously you don't want to give away anything that could... but there are other ways that they have too, right? Like we've talked about, you know, smart dust cameras, well, things like that too. But ways to mark people, I mean, I don't know if that's a thing to be used or they even need to do that. You guys know how rudimentary my information on this stuff is, but like I don't know how they would do it. But essentially, you're going to want to, you know, put your finger on who these people are, who they're networking with, right? And so even in the drops, they told us that they had been mapping Antifa for quite some time, and that was 2018, 19, I want to say. So this is pretty much a regular occurrence, and they're going to get more intel on these people. And guess what? It goes both ways, too. You guys remember in the, I think it was during, you know, the major rallies, riots, whatever you want to call. There was a few people that were essentially pulled off, and these were people that were starting to cause havoc, essentially. And at that point, they were pulled, basically cornered, and pulled their masks off and found out that these two guys were cops or police officers in that area as well. So they were actually, you know, causing some havoc when there didn't need to be any. So it kind of goes into both directions. You got good officers in there to identify the bad people and peg them, but then apparently you have bad officers in certain areas that will go in there and start to push the violence as well. What do they call them? Agent provocateurs.
They're agitators. Yeah.
You know, well, the mob mentality, right?
Yeah. In a lot of these situations, they're going to light off sooner or later. And it might be advantageous to light it off, give them a little shove, because they're going to do it anyway. But you'd rather have them do it on, say, at 7 or 8 or 9 in the evening rather than 2 or 3 in the morning. And I'm just being truthful. You know, Antifa and these other groups, there's more of both going on with these things than most people would realize. But it's no different than it's always been. I'm not condoning or condemning methods. I'm just saying it is what it is. And you know, people don't remember the 70s. I was just a kid, but you had bombings, you had all kinds of shit constantly going on. You had some really crazy radicals in those days. And these kids today are tame compared to that. Where the more trouble can be wrought would be, say, on the internet or with the mass communications now that you can get, these bad actors can get more involved, more, almost immediately. And, maybe you have to light it up. You have to light that match so that that component doesn't come into play when they want it to, but when you want to catch them off guard with less people on the street. It could be any number of reasons. Those kind of things are very fluid and in the moment. So you're going to see things like that come out, of course. And in the end, is it serving a better purpose? Usually, 99% of the time, it is actually. And okay, there can be legal arguments all day long about it. I could give a damn what lawyers have to say about it, because number one, they're out there mindlessly protesting over something that is destructive to the country. We need to get rid of the bad actors that cross that border. We need to have American citizens with proof of identification who are registered voting. Because we haven't had any of that in order, we're in the mess we are now. So I don't give a damn what has to be done to start correcting it. It needs to be done. That's my 2 cents.
I agree 100%. Well, we're kind of like on our side, we're kind of doing like the nice guy legal routine thing, but we know if these jerk-offs were ever to get into power that they're gonna, stack the courts and do, get rid of the filibuster, stack the courts, and then basically throw the Constitution out the window at that point. So almost like, do we need to push now? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, because people are easily, I'm not a psychologist, but I do know that, kind of, I'm quoting, I think, the Men in Black here, humans are smart, but people are stupid. And I think that's like, the mob mentality, right? You ever been in like a crowd of people and then everybody's fine and one person throws a punch and then the next thing you know, everybody's like punching each other. It's like, what the hell happened? People act differently in a crowd and it doesn't take as much to set them off when they are.
I feel there's the sense of them being emboldened when they're amongst their tribe kind of thing. And they will be. They will be. And yeah, mobs are stupid. They're very dumb. They do a lot of dumb things. But people as a rule, well, other than man on the street interviews you see on these various shows, people are not, by and large, idiots and fools, and they do go by some sense of common sense. But you're talking about a lot of young people. And these are the minds that they targeted on purpose because they are stupid enough to go out there and think, well, knowing nothing of history, knowing nothing of the fact that what they're doing is not going to get them what they want. It's only going to cause trouble and pain for them and whoever else happens to be in the way. It's a wasted exercise. Protest is built into the system. It's expected. It's allowed. It's in the Constitution. However, it doesn't serve the same purpose it did 250 years ago as it does now.
Sure.
Just leave it there.
Let me see. So I got an interesting one for you guys. And I want and Ghost, just so you know, we're about 9 minutes from 2 hours. I know you said you had to go around the 2 hour mark, but I did want to get this one in before you did go because this one was just crazy. I'm like, what is this exactly we're looking at here? So guys, girls, is this a fake? Is this drone? No, it's not a drone dropping something. That's the cord. Have you guys seen anything like this? Is this a drone or what the hell is it? Is this AI? I don't think it's AI. It says that they're drones, apparently. Another model. But
the only other time I've seen something similar to that was in Las Vegas, and it was flying out of Nellis.
Oh God.
that
Leave that one alone.
Yeah, that's the only. It looks similar. That's all. I mean that it just looks very similar.
Very
from
weird.
the side view. Yeah.
Very, very weird. And again, people share things online, and we can't tell you. And I don't know if one of you guys shared this with the group or if it was me sharing it with you guys earlier, but I think it was me sharing it with you guys. But again, I don't, I can't tell you exactly what the heck's going on here. Let me turn this music off here. So this person here posted this out. I don't know what it is, but they're saying a lady in Texas films this through a telescope. She thinks it looks like bacteria. So I started looking at it in the beginning. I'm like, well, it could just be some AI nonsense or whatever. But then she kind of zooms out with this side of it. Let me turn the music off again here. Come on with this stupid stuff. So, I'm like, maybe she's just filming like a Christmas tree light or something like that, or, trying to fake people out, because it does look like there's a reflection in something. Can't really tell what it is. It says the telescope, and I don't know what it is. It looks like a bacteria or something. I'm like, yeah, that's fake as heck. And then she zooms out. Hold on. I don't know if it was in the beginning or the end, but she definitely zooms out of it and zooms back in. Oh, okay. She's pointing the thing down to the viewfinder. That's why it looks weird. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into a telescope, but you got to kind of make sure your eye is just right. If you move it side to side, you won't see it exactly clearly. But then when she zoomed out, it was this. So I don't know. Are they prepping us, Mike?
Looks like an orb.
So yeah. I mean, to be honest here with everyone, it's including the audience. We've seen stuff like this. I've sent over pictures and videos to Armando, Ghost, and I think even you, Spaceshot. What we take the dog out to use the restroom, and there it is. All I do is just pull the phone out, take pictures, and make a video. I don't do anything else with any of that, but that's just what it is.
What's on the other side of those mountains?
Me and Ghost when I was sitting outside on the deck had a conversation one night. Remember, I took a photograph of one. I sent it to you. I'm like, yep, we know what that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
The last one I tried it was during the day. It was about 2 PM, and it was, I'd say, about 4,000 feet out and 4,000 feet off the deck. And I went from pitch black to a blinding white. And I put my phone up, and I had wife and daughter was standing there looking at it in the sky, and she could see it on the screen of my phone. When I went to replay it, it was as if I had been pointing the phone at the grass the whole time. Now it has 3 lenses on it. I don't know how it was manipulated. I have no idea. I don't even know what we were seeing, other than it was sitting there hovering and then just disappeared. I was able to catch one frame of it above tops of some pine trees, and that's it. So what that is, I have no bloody idea. And that it could do that, my phone. I was, okay, it is what it is. It happened. Now did I go report it to MUFON? No, I'm not going to do that. But whatever technology was being used, beyond me. Beyond me, because I wasn't the only one looking at it on the phone, because I zoomed in on it. And there it was, right in the center of the screen. And when I go to play it, it's as if I was pointing the phone down at the grass the whole time, except for one fraction of a second in the very beginning. I'll see if I can find that and send it to you guys.
Mike, that video that you shared, I just sent it to the group. Just take a look at that message there. And of course, we won't mention where exactly that was, but just let me know if that video is okay to share. Because whatever the hell that was doesn't act normal.
Oh yeah. Feel free.
All right, let me just.
Yeah, that did not go to. I'm not going to say. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, feel free.
I'm just going to put it on X as friend recorded this. That's all we're saying here, and I'll be able to show it for the folks, because whatever the exhaust was on that thing was very weird. It was like it was twisting behind it, almost like that MH370 stuff that we've seen before, where the orbs kind of circle around the thing. It kind of looked like it had that type of pattern to it. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but definitely a little weird. Let me just make sure that uploaded okay.
Yeah.
No sound.
Yeah, that was this weirdest thing I've seen. So, well, not the weirdest, but yeah, that's weird.
So what you guys are going to be looking at here? What the heck? My phone started playing video for me. All right, so I'll have to remove this so everybody can see the bottom of the screen here. But this thing, and you can actually see it right there to a certain extent. The exhaust, whatever the exhaust it's using is spinning out of the back of it. So there it is, and it's kind of going to loop from over here, guys. So look towards, it's going to go to the left side of the screen there, and then I'll put my cursor above it. That kind of, oh, I hate when people do that, and I did it. Oh, that's the worst. Dude, that's like a big time pet peeve of mine, is just because I'm live that I did that. But, oh, man. But that's just wild, dude. Anybody can say what the heck that is? I mean, you can see it right there, the 3 plumes or whatever you want to call them. They're trailing. They're like trailing it.
A trail, yeah.
I've never seen anything, and so that would indicate that there's some sort of a cyclical
well, it looks like some type of pulse propulsion.
Yeah, see how it's like wiggling up and down like that? Like wiggle, wiggle.
Space.
Well,
check your text message. Sorry, Doc.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah, and where it took off from, it took off where the mountains were. It took off from the mountains. Like, that was the strangest part of that video at all, is that it's coming from the mountains going up and then traverses across the sky like that.
It emerged from solid matter.
Essentially, yes. The best way I can explain what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So
they've documented out at Skinwalker.
Yeah, I mean, and that Skinwalker Ranch too is super weird. I've only watched it to a certain extent, but they have this one area in it that it's almost like you could kind of visualize it as like a pole going straight up in the air, and whatever it is, it messes up things when they shoot off fireworks around it. It kind of it goes all around, so it's some anomalous area that they got. Let me see. I'm looking
an energy field. It's centered over that triangle area, and then they've got some interesting images of certain things within that look like cylindrical with platforms on them. Fascinating images, but that was from ground radar. It's hard to, but the symmetry was so perfect is what struck you. But I have a feeling what's out there is ancient. I'll just leave it at that. Ancient, and I know they're being censored with some of their findings. They're not allowed to put out not all of the stuff they're doing and all of the stuff they're finding.
Interesting.
I did find a pic of the one that I took off the deck while I was on a 3-way conversation with Doc, myself, and Ghost there.
It's going to be on the screen in about 14 seconds here. If I could get as fast as I'm going here. Here we go.
I'll stay for that, and then I'll jump.
Looks like the moon. Wait, that's Armando's butt.
No.
Well, he said send me a picture of the moon. That's not what we meant here. Where I put it in.
Trust me, that ain't no moon.
You can kiss my rosy red ass. Who said anything about Rosie? There we go. Boom. So where was that? Like up in the sky, or?
All right, so that little lower right-hand corner there, that's a tree. That's the trees. I have like a nice little gap between my tree line there. Mm-hmm. Clear night, was nothing there. And all of a sudden, it just, boop, there it is. Kind of started pulsating. I was able to get a shot of it. It hung around like for about 12 to 15 seconds, and it was gone.
Dude, it looks like it's got, let me see, annotate. Yeah, it almost looks like it's got a little stick sticking out of it right here.
And it's got the aura that goes around it, which is even weirder than that. that the outer ring of it was
Did you
kind of
try,
like buzzing.
Did you try running it through different filters or changing chroma and all that?
Nah, I haven't. I saw it and I was just like, meh, whatever. It's like, I'm not, not the first rodeo for that, but
I'll play with it later on. I'll put it through
feel
some
free.
different. Yeah, I'll put it through some different filters to see what's going on. But hey, guys, remember that video a little while ago? There, I don't even know where it was with the drone or whatever we're calling it. I don't know where it went, whatever. But it was during the fire area, and it looked like we said a drone or whatever. So my buddy, who's actually retired fireman out of I believe San Bernardino, he said actually. I said, you ever seen anything like this, firefighting? He said, actually, yeah. It's a device that oscillates oxygen to take out of the fire tetrahedron and being marketed as the new fire suppression system instead of water, and it can be attached to drones. A device that oscillates oxygen to take out the fire tetrahedron. Those are words too big for my vocabulary. No, tetrahedron's a shape, right?
A dispersal device. A dispersal device for, right?
Yeah, it says a device that oscillates oxygen to take out of the fire tetrahedron, and being marketed as the new fire suppression system instead of water.
If he's saying tetrahedron, and I'm picking up on what he's saying, I don't know if I want to share that out loud, but that'd be quite interesting to see, and how much oxygen it takes out of that area. That'd be fascinating to see.
Does it resonate with the O2 and force it away? I wonder.
Yeah, because if there's no oxygen, can't be a fire, right?
Yeah, yeah. Fire. Fire lives on oxygen.
We used to do that. We used to use that on the flight deck of the carrier for ordnance, especially when there was something going on. If there was a fire, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was PPK or PPQ, which is aqueous foam or something like that, where basically you spray the foam over the fire and it just gets rid of all the oxygen that's around it and just extinguishes the fire.
Cool. So they're getting very smart with it.
Yeah.
I got to jump. I was just given word that someone in the YouTube chat is saying I'm Junior again. No, I'm not.
You're going to make him leave.
Junior.
Oh, God.
You know,
the jig is up. You're not a gray man. You're not hiding at all.
Ghost, have a great night and tell Carolyn we all said have a great weekend.
Oh, yeah. I'll give her a peck on the cheek from all of you. I mean, for crying out loud, please, people, stop that. Just stop it.
Junior, we love you. We love you.
Oh,
I even sound like him. That's the funny part.
Yeah, and these guys they know what I look like, and no.
When are you giving us the latest drop?
As soon as I go to the bathroom in about 15 minutes. That's about the only drop I'm giving.
Looks like that so-called steak. Okay.
I don't want to leave on a negative note, though. But folks, have a little common sense about what you're really dealing with out there. Whether he's dead or alive is irrelevant. Would it change your life? If it does, then you need to re-examine your own existence. It wouldn't change a thing I do or anyone else I know does. It'd be wonderful if he was alive, but no one really knows. And if I did know, I sure as hell wouldn't say, but I don't. And I'm not him. So we'll leave it at that.
Thanks,
great
brother.
being here. I wish I could have finished, but I got to get on to this other thing with some other gents and finish
problem,
that up
brother.
Quickly.
We'll finish it out, my man.
Guys.
We appreciate you, brother. We'll see you
brother.
next week.
See you, brother.
Thanks. God bless. See you guys.
God bless, man.
My brothers.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
See you guys next week. And I did a little bit of leg work here. ChatGPT work here. Let's see. So it's saying Sonic Fire's infrasound acoustic fire suppression system matches the description, uses low frequency sound waves below 20 hertz, inaudible to humans, to oscillate, vibrate oxygen molecules in the air around a fire, disrupting their ability to mix fuel with fuel and sustain combustion. That's pretty cool. So what's the fire tetrahedron? That's what it is. Effectively moves or interferes with the oxygen leg of the fire tetrahedron. Heat. So I guess the fire tetrahedron is heat, fuel, oxygen, chemical chain reaction, extinguishing or preventing flames without water, foam, or chemicals. So very cool. So yeah, it looks like it's the answer to that is new tech for this thing here. Crazy.
Doc, I found that it's what we used on the flight deck, especially around ordnance and stuff. It's called Purple K, also known as PKP, which is a dry chemical fire suppression agent that basically dissipates all oxygen in a certain parameter around where the flames are, and it just kills the flame immediately.
Yeah,
it just sucks the oxygen out of that area.
That's
Purple K, very corrosive too, very corrosive. So we had to, basically hose everything down after we deployed it because it was extremely corrosive.
Potassium
Purple
bicarbonate.
K been around.
it makes sense. Especially with the Tesla fires. There's a certain compound that fire compound you have to put on the when the Tesla cars catch on fire. Those things burn for hours.
Yeah, it says here it cools fires and forms a physical blanket that cuts off oxygen, suppressing flammable vapors. The primary types used are Class A foam or ordinary solid combustibles like wood and paper, and then Class B foam for flammable liquid fires like gas, oil, JP4, JP5, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, been around for a long time. Works too. Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Mike, you said this one's good to go. This is a can. Yes, sure.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just I didn't know if there's any audio on it. You could just take the audio out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll just upload it as it is and play it silently. I think it's just background noise or whatever. But let's take a look. See, yeah, ding, ding, ding. Another. So let's do this. Get rid of the background noise. Here we go. That looked like
that's a pretty one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a little colorblind, and I even saw a little yellow, a little bit of red there.
Yep.
And so there was I think it was a airplane flying by, and it goes right, pretty much next to it, and it's line of path. It's flight line.
That's Lincoln, huh?
Yeah. So that one I'll actually talk about. So I was going to the gym, and I was walking into the gym, and this guy, I'm walking to the gym. He's walking away, looking towards the parking lot where you see the light pillar at, and he's like, "Hey, do you see that?" And so I turn around, and so I see this leaving my our AO or the area we're in, and so it's leaving the area, and so I pick up the phone as quick as I can, and I get it in. I get as much as I could in. It was very strange, and it was very low altitude, and then it went up to a higher altitude where you saw that plane fly by, and then
crazy.
That's it.
I think we should start asking people nowadays, like, who hasn't had a UFO experience or who hasn't seen something.
Oh, totally. Everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I've shown mine a few times over the years, which is I don't know, Jeff, did you ever get to see my weird UFO experience video that I did?
No, I didn't see yours. I did not.
So this was a total of this video is 3 seconds, and it's apparently longer than the experience actual took. So as long as you hear me making these vibration songs, this was the total of the experience. I saw a flickering in the sky, and then all of a sudden the sky went the brightest blue flash of light you ever saw in your life. And when it went over us, it went, and that was it, done. And so here we go. Here's that whole experience. And this is actually ChatGPT. I used the actual street that I was on at the time. So I used the Google Street View. This is the actual street that I was on at the time, and it made everything in the neighborhood just completely blue. Like the White House was blue, the green grass was blue, everything was like Oakley sunglass blue. And so I was reaching into my buddy's car, and he looked up immediately because I was like, dude, what's this? It looks like it's going to be, because we were in his car right here facing this way. And I literally just about to reach my head into his car, and I look to the right, and I'm like, I see this flickering like up here. And I say to him, I thumb over that direction. I'm like, see that? Looks like it's going to be some weird lightning or something. And he looked immediately up. And then as soon as I see whatever the flash hit his face, I backed my head out, looked up, and it was just so bright and brilliant that I couldn't make anything out of it. And then he swears to this day that there were windows in this thing. And he's like, and so not only was it me, the girl I was dating at the time, him, my neighbor downstairs, who was my landlord, and his wife saw it, and she was absolutely shit-faced drunk. And he was pulling her in the house, and she's like, oh, this government spacecraft, ha. My buddy's like, F that. I know what the F I saw. That was a plane. That thing had friggin' windows. I'm telling you. I'm like, all right, dude, I'll take your word for it. Dude, I even called... I called the weather station. I was asking them about ball lightning. I, didn't know what ball lightning was exactly at the time, but no ball lightning. And one other coworker, and this was about 10 o'clock at night, one other coworker said him and his wife were woken up by a loud shaking. And then when they looked out the window, or didn't have to look out the window, when they got awoken, it was bright blue out their window. Like their whole house was like he said a bright blue flashlight was shined on their house. I'm like, that's pretty weird, kind of what I saw, but yeah. I don't know. I, again, still don't know what it was, but, most likely our boys, doing something, but who knows? This is funny. And if you guys got any UFO stuff that you want to talk about, please go right ahead. But I'm just going to get into another somewhat funny. Breaking overnight. This state again, and I'll say this at the end here. Breaking overnight, Minnesota, quote, outstanding refugee award recipient Salman Elmi. Elmi, that's a familiar last name. Just been charged with defrauding Medicaid with the help of a sex trafficking ring to the tune of $1 million. The same Minnesota guy that hands out Medicaid payments is the agency that gifted him the Refugee Award for Entrepreneurship. His, quote, business was stealing Minnesotans' money. He literally cannot make this up. And says here, Elmi is in 2021 celebrating his, quote, achievement. And wasn't that, what's her name's married name? I may be getting it wrong, but wasn't Ilhan Omar's married name? What was her married name? Might be wrong. I don't know.
Skank?
Oh, wait. If Ilhan Omar's birth name was Ilhan Noor Said Almi, she needs to explain why it was changed to Ilhan Abdullahi Omar in 1995 when she was given refugee status in the United States. Ilhan's last name before she changed it. Send him back. The Elmies. I've got to pull my thing over here. I've got to get my face to the thing. Fleeing Somalia's brutal civil war, Elmies live in a Kenyan refugee camp. We know anybody from Kenya? Okay.
No.
Checks notes. Okay. This is a little crazy. Father, Nair said Almi Muhammad. Children, Layla, Muhammad, Sarah, Ilhan, and Ahmed. UK. Some went to the UK. Some went over the United States. The Omars. The family of Somali heritage living in and near Arlington, Virginia in 1995. Ahmed Omar, Abdullahi Omar, United States. 3 Elmies changed their names, joined the Omar family, receive asylum, and eventually receive U.S. citizenship. Noor Said Almi Muhammad is now Noor Omar Muhammad. Oh, God, this is crazy. So the gig is up, and, at the end of the day, going back to the original post here, did they know all about this stuff? And this is what I'm going to my grave on, Jeff. I'm staking my life on this, that the only reason this guy was ever placed in there with Kamala Harris was so we could expose Minnesota. I mean, I don't know what else, like, can anybody give me any other reason why Kamala Harris would hire, remember, jazz hands, Richard Simmons, running on stage with his hands all, hey guys, like Richard Simmons acting like a weirdo. Nobody in the country knew who this guy was, but yet after the election, what's like the first place that's hit with major fraud abuse? Oh, Minnesota. Well, who's the governor there? Oh, Tim Walz. That's a coincidence. You know what I mean? That's a coincidence to the nth degree, in my opinion. But you got any comments you want to make on this, Jeff? Because it's just like fraud is just crazy.
A couple things. For one, just to play the other side, there is a history from the Democrats of choosing a VP that's dumber than they are. And so you had Obama gets Biden, clearly dumber. And then Biden, kind of tough, but he gets Kamala and really succeeded. And then once you get to Kamala, that bar is so low that you're just like, dude, what do we do with this? And Tim Walz, I think, was actually the right choice for that end of having a dumber VP than the presidential candidate. So I have to say that could be the reason, just as another option. I like yours, but I'm just saying that does track. As far as this thing, did you mention the refugee award? I think you did mention it, but he's holding the award for like outstanding refugee, and they had all of these videos because it was for his entrepreneurship, and they had like the kind of high living, high lifestyle, hustle till you make it thing as the messaging to get out to the community. And then this guy was actually just stealing the money and using sex trafficking. And it kind of is a great, metaphor for everything we've dealt with the Somalis.
Right? It's crazy. Outstanding refugee. What do you think, Armando?
Outstanding refugee. I would never get that award. Just saying.
You gotta fraud some people first, dude, before you get that honor.
Yeah, just saying.
Let's see. He's been charged.
I'm going to throw something up here.
Okay.
I'm going to throw something up here for you.
Go for it, baby. Go for it.
Go ahead.
Well, he got charged with Medicaid fraud. He says 3 counts of aiding and abetting by swindle and 5 counts of aiding and abetting by false representation. Charges also allege 2 members involved in the fraud scheme were tied to a trafficking ring involving brothels. Oh, what happens there? The same agency that gave Elmy the award, the Minnesota Department of Human Services, has been deeply involved in the massive fraud scheme that has unfolded across the state in recent years. He was part of a startup that received financial backing from a Shark Tank star, according to Fox 9 Minneapolis. Oh, nice.
Imagine that.
I mean, Mike, there's so much fraud lately. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's beyond.
It's the grifter network, man.
And
this is network.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like it really is.
Right? Because we got, I heard Nick Shirley did a little stint over. I know he did Cuba because he barely made it out alive. I heard he did a little stint in New York as well recently. You got Minnesota, California, New York is going to be huge. I'm thinking at the end of the day, that's going to be monstrous. And they're only hitting a few of these states, but you got to assume it's probably business as usual in probably every state. And I won't even go so far as to say, oh, it's only the Democrat states. I'm sure there's some Republican states in there that have some serious fraud as well.
Georgia. Yeah. We're in Georgia. It's international hub. It's an international hub. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and the amount of foreign influence and money and networks is insane. So
100%.
There's going to be a lot.
100%.
Also, there was there's a bunch of elections going on right now, so I know that's like new stuff, but it's interesting to watch the difference between the chatter on the internet and like X and then real life. So yesterday I went to the my county's GOP meeting, and then I'm in the Tea Party for the neighboring county. And so I like to go and talk to people. And one thing at the party, at the meeting yesterday, I talked to the Turning Point Action head for the area, and she hasn't really heard like anything in her circles about flock cameras. And I was like, What? Like, seriously? I mean, it is like a big thing on the internet. What's up, Armando?
Now that you say that, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. Forsyth County Sheriff's Department just signed a mega, bill to instill flock cameras all over the county. They're actually already up, including up and down the 400. FYI.
Oh my gosh!
Have you guys seen the the court hearing with Flock's chief executive officer, where the attorneys are grilling him about what Flock cameras can do with AI and what it can't do?
No, I've not seen that.
And he lies. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Clearly.
he lies all about it, and yeah.
Really?
Like we would never help ICE. Like that's the one.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, we'd never.
You have to
I'm like,
find that somewhere. That's like that's important.
the one thing I'd want you to use it for. You're like, we promise no matter what, it would contractually go against, our deal with California. So we're not going to help ICE with Flock's information.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we don't use AI, but we use LLM. So it's not AI, but it's an LLM. And
Well, how about the fact that didn't Axion just buy out Flock?
Ah.
I haven't seen
company.
I haven't seen if if they got it approved. Deflock.
What do you think of that one, Armando? He says, using this simple technique, you may no longer have flock issues.
Well, here, what they did here is they didn't put poles up on those things. They actually incorporated them in the traffic lights
Oh, man.
in the poles, so you can't chop them down.
And so they're
go ahead.
Yeah, they and Mossad came out with a new similar technology, and in Texas, they've installed it on the Texas Highway Patrol or DPS cars, and in that information, license plate reading, information on the persons, where they live, the PII information, if they have a warrant or not, it goes back to a third party. And it was created by a former Mossad officer, a senior officer, and in Texas, DPS just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with them to start using that technology around Texas.
Hey,
that's crazy. Well, dude, it's super weird, and you guys know I've talked about it all the time. Unfortunately, my state and even especially my town is like the liberalist, if that's a word, the liberalistist, mostestist, if I'm conveying my point across, very liberal. My town, for some reason, maybe they're cheap, but they're not. They said no to Flock, which is very, very weird for me. I was like, really? My town said no? That's super weird. But then we have all these issues that that happen, like this one, right? This lady, they said it was a triple fatal hit and run. Right? Seized her undamaged black Durango, claimed damage, then arrested her 6 months later after she sued to get it back. She sat in jail for 13 days, facing life in prison. They ignored the maroon paint transfer, the partial plate that didn't match, the airbag that never deployed, and witnesses. Just took the first Durango, Flock flagged. 7 months of hell, charges finally dropped when they got the actual driver. Like, this is a problem, and people need to be very loud about it.
And so what Flock's doing now to kind of counteract their misjudgments is that they will make adjustments on the photos or the cameras or the surveillance that's been downloaded. And so if there's if they know it's the wrong license plate that's on there, they will augment or change to make that correction to make sure they're not being the culpable guilty party. So they're covering their ass, by making minor changes to make sure that, okay, we're not going to be caught, but yet this person still innocent is still going to go to prison or jail, get a ticket or do time, who had nothing to do with it, just so they can CYA. I thought that was the most effed up part, is what they're doing with that.
Yeah, it's freaking disgusting. It is absolutely. And like Ghost was saying, maybe we, need them for a little bit longer. But after that long-term, hell, no, certainly not. But Mr. Armando, you had dropped this one for the group here, I think. Hold on. Here we go. This one?
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Pharmaceuticals. Let's see. So it says a privately managed pharmacy has begun operating in Regla, Havana, after the regime authorized the participation of non-state actors in certain pharmaceutical services under the supervision of the Ministry of Public Health. The establishment was showcased by the Preval Official and the Estevez Cuba channels, where workers confirm that they sell medications and natural products and carry out free deliveries in certain vulnerable cases. Among the prices shown is pediatric cephalaxin for 2,000 pesos. Opening comes just a few weeks after Decree 160 took effect, which allows private activities in pharmaceutical services through state authorization. The production of medications, however, remains limited to formulas associated with state entities. So,
in other words, for the state, you can purchase there if you are a known contact of the state. For example, the half lady that you see in the photograph there, she is dressed too clean and too well to be a commoner, if you will. So she obviously belongs to the party, right? So again, all of this being channeled and funneled through GAESA, which is basically GAESA, for those that don't know, think of it as the equivalent of our Federal Reserve Bank. GAESA is exactly that over there. It's owned, controlled, managed by the state, along with everything that you're looking at here. In other words, store for the state representatives or people that are part of the regime or family members that can go in there and purchase whatever they need, but only for them, not for the, as we say, los de pie, which is basically the foot walking Cubans out in the street.
That's ridiculous. So it's
state-owned pharmacy, basically owned by the state. Everything there is owned and channeled by the state. Fully stocked shelves, everything, but no, wait, no, you don't have clearance to come in here and shop. Bye-bye. I mean, look at that. Look at their POS system that they're using there, right? That looks like, that's probably some Chinese upgraded, gadget, POS system to check out, swipe your card, I mean, what Cuban has a freaking credit card or a debit card? It doesn't exist. It's only for the state. Everything goes through GAESA.
Wow. So all right, say if you were not with the state, but you had a lot of money, could you go in there and buy it, or you have to be connected? So, geez.
Nope. You got to be connected, period.
I just Space, I just sent you that video over the court of that hearing.
Okay, cool. Let me take a peek, see.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's very sad what they're doing in Cuba with, it's just, it's got to be right. It's got to be, someone's got to come in on a humanitarian level and help out. That's just, it's genocide what's going on.
Yep, Doc, you know this. I've sent you video clips of, of especially the elderly walking around in the street, man. They look like, what they look at the prisoners that were coming out of Auschwitz. They're literally skin and bones, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this lady doesn't look like she's hungry.
No.
And she's dressed extremely, extremely well. I mean, communist millionaires is what they call them down there. They're the ones that roll up in the Audis or in the BMWs,
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. The haves and the have-nots. All right, wait.
There you go.
I got this one here, flock cameras, and the second one's even crazier, dude. I can't believe this. So yeah, listen to this. This is wild. Let's see. Let's listen to a little bit of this, see if he gets to the point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. Did you say that flood cameras that they require warrants?
No.
They don't require warrants? Did you say that flood cameras don't use AI?
Correct. They do not use generative AI. They use machine learning.
They don't use AI?
Correct. There's a difference between machine learning and generative AI.
So he's saying, do they use AI? No, they use generative learning. And you guys know I'm not the highest tech guy, but isn't that pretty much the same thing? Like, is there a difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right, here we go.
No, I just have a webpage here from your company Right here it says leveraging AI-powered technology to keep employees safe, and then it goes on to talk about harnessing Flock Safety's AI-powered technology to enhance employee safety. So, does your system log, track, and store the movements of law-abiding citizens in Sullivan County?
Log, track, and store the movements. What do you mean by the movements?
You know, their car, where they're going.
We do not know where people are going now.
But you do log where, you know, their car, the make and model of their vehicle, whether it's got like a bike rack, dents on it, that sort of thing.
As a vehicle passes a camera, we do log this information.
Yeah. If a resident wants to opt out of that, can they, you know, while they're going to church or work or the grocery store, can they say, I don't want to be part of that surveillance dragnet? Can they opt out of it? There's no opt out. Can you guarantee that no federal agency, out-of-state entity, or, you know, third-party partner can access that sort of data without explicit approval?
Yes.
So there's no backdoor for federal agencies?
No.
Do you really expect us to believe that? How many times has Flock been used illegally or inappropriately?
I can't answer that question for you.
The answer is between 50 and 100 times. How many people have been arrested for using Flock illegally?
Can't answer that for you.
The answer is at least 28. Who foots the bill for Flock? How much is it per year for Sullivan County?
What do you guys say? What is your contract for? It's $33,000.
$33,000. Could you explain convoy analysis?
Convoy analysis, please elaborate.
Flock has a program called convoy analysis. They track vehicles that are close to one another.
Give you a great example. Yeah, there was a ATM servicer, ATM service technician in, I believe, Jefferson, Kentucky, who was robbed at gunpoint by an individual, and all the money was taken. So they were able to put that tag of the service driver's van to see who was following them the previous days to identify that individual.
Do you not think it's a privacy concern to, you know, track, you know, who's driving with each other?
On a public road?
It's a private company.
Accessing your data?
Yes.
We do not access your data. Only law enforcement can access your data.
How do you get the data then if you don't access it?
It goes to Amazon W Cloud or Amazon AWS Gov Cloud, and law enforcement accesses it.
Wow.
Your CEO recently, 3 weeks ago, he gave a TED Talk called "Can a camera on every corner make us safer?" Do you agree with that statement? Do you think a camera on every corner will make Americans safer?
I'm not here to speak for a CEO.
Okay. I kind of thought that's why you were here.
Dude, how many lies there? Oh, wait, it doesn't go to federal law enforcement. No. It would never go to any of those. And they're paying the state or the counties or whatever are paying $33,000 a year to have this done. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was going to say it seemed like it would be a lot more expensive than just $33,000. But hey, they'll make it back in the revenue, right? I got a ticket from one of these stupid things. Actually, I think I mentioned it during one of the shows a few months ago. And I posed it like this because I had a rental because I had to go take a far drive and I was looking for a new car, and I drove through the city in which I grew up in, and I got a ticket, and I thought that they just hit it for like $25 on Enterprise. Well, no, I got the ticket for that like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. Apparently the fee through Enterprise is their administrative fee for having to look up my name and give that to the police, and then they in turn send me a $50 ticket for this. So it's basically that whole system being used. And I don't know if that's exactly Flock, but it's one of these things. And just so you folks out there know, look up your local laws as far as if you get one of these tickets. And Mike, I don't know if it's different in California versus Rhode Island, but essentially, if I get pulled over by an officer or whatever, and he says, "All right, you were speeding 45 and a 35. Here's your ticket," whatever. If I don't pay that, I will get my license taken away, right? They'll send you a bunch of letters and say, if you don't pay this by then, you're going to get your license removed. Well, if you get a ticket by one of the machines, one of the readers or whatever, there is no teeth in Rhode Island as far as if you don't pay that ticket back. They can't remove your license. And it even tells you on the ticket, oh, this is nothing to do with your insurance. It won't make your insurance go up or anything. But of course, it doesn't tell you if you don't pay it, you're not going to lose your license. But that is the case in Rhode Island. There's no teeth behind if a machine solely hits you with a ticket and then mails it to you later. Is that the same in California that you're aware of?
Yeah. So that's more like down like by the base in Orange County. And it's like by the horse track when you get out of the base. They have them there. And, in fact, what they're doing now is, on the highways, how you have the fast track is if you're now, we didn't know this. Now, if you're not a member of Fast Track, or if you don't sign up before you enter the fast track lane, it'll hit you with a fine. And so you essentially get a private traffic ticket fine, not a citation, it's a fine, but it looks like a citation, and you have to pay it. And if you don't pay it within, I think they gave us like 5 days to pay it, and it was like $75. And if you didn't pay it within the first 5 days, it went up to $325.
Jeez.
And so the confusion was, everyone here in California, like, okay, hop on the fast track if you really need to, and just pay it later. That's very common. And Fast Track never told any of the California residents that if you want to get on Fast Track, you have to pre-enroll. And so that way Fast Track knows that you're getting on the Fast Track and will mail it's like 25 cents to get from this, this part to that part when you get off the exit. And so instead of you paying the 50 cents to use that 2 mile stretch and get off for that, and it just costs 50 cents, now you're paying between $25 and $75 for not pre-enrolling.
Oh, it's friggin' disgusting. And that,
yeah.
And that reminds me of another thing that happened in that same trip, mind you. So it was an expensive trip. I had to go over one of the bridges, and I will definitely be calling them tomorrow on my off day and disputing this. Well, I went over one of the bridges where they just charge you apparently by your license plate, and I knew that was going to happen, but I never got the thing in the mail. So I never got, I guess, letter 1 that they sent me allegedly, and I never received that mail. But last week I opened up the mail and I see a thing where it should be $4 for passing the thing, and that bill is now $44 because of a $40 late fee. And I'm like, wait, so it was last month. You said you sent me a piece of mail. It's now the next month, and you're already tacked on $40 late fee. So yeah, it's just a racket about getting money.
Oh, yeah.
But this next clip, dude, that you dropped was just crazy to go with that one. And I gotta
Georgia,
say,
it's different.
Is it?
Yeah. For example, there is a certain stretch, and Jeff will know it. It's Buford Dam Road, like you're going towards Peachtree Industrial. If you take Buford Dam Road, you go across the dam and you keep going, there is apparently a Fulton County school on the right-hand side, right? Well, they have traffic cameras for, school zone, slow down, it's 30 miles an hour or 25 or whatever it is, right? If you're going 27, 28 miles an hour and that camera takes your picture, even though school's already out, but it's still within the allotted school hours time, right? They'll take a picture of the back of your vehicle with the tag and everything, and they'll send you a speeding fine in the mail. The officer's signature, like the one that caught you with the radar gun, is non-existent. It's typed in there, in cursive, of course, right? You got to pay it. So then I argued it, right? I'm like, okay, so, it turns out that day, my vehicle was in the repair shop. So I don't recall driving down this road at that time. So what if the technician took the vehicle out for a test drive and he's the one that violated that? Well, it doesn't matter. It's your tag, it's your registration. You get the ticket whether you were in the vehicle or not. We're ticketing the vehicle and the owner of the vehicle on the registration. If you don't pay that ticket within a certain amount of time, it goes month after month. And what'll happen is they will not revoke it, but they will suspend your vehicle's registration, not your license, your registration. So therefore you can't renew your tags.
Wow.
Yeah.
A year later. Okay. So they're force you to, $100 ticket.
Unreal.
Right.
That's
that is just a camera that just flashes that for going, it doesn't matter if you're doing 30 or 25 or below, you're fine. But you go over 1 or 2, boom, you're done. It's a racket. It's a racket, and you can't fight it. If you try to fight it, you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, think about what a different world if these police weren't out there just trying to make revenue off of traffic stops and actually doing, stopping crime and stuff. But dude, this next clip, I gotta say, I very much agree with the sentiment of the statement made here. So take this for what you will here. Is this another one here? Let me see. Oh wait, this is. I don't know where it is on this point here exactly, but.
Thank you for being here. Did you say that flood cameras that they require warrants?
Make sure this is loud
enough. They don't require warrants. Did you say that flock cameras? Your CEO recently, 3 weeks ago, he gave a TED talk called "Can a camera on every corner make us safer?" Do you agree with that statement? Do you think a camera on every corner will make Americans safer?
I'm not here to speak for a CEO.
Okay. I kind of thought that's why you were here. It is the 250th anniversary of our country's founding. One of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, once famously said that those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And I actually have a problem with this resolution because I think it needs to be amended. It's too open-ended. It says that we shall not renew it until such concerns have been addressed, as laid out by Gary Stidham and written in the resolution. And I have some concerns with what Gary and what Mark are talking about. I don't think we need to renew this at all. I don't think the people of Sullivan County want this. I believe that Flock right now is one of the most hated companies in America. They are one of the most corrupt companies in America. And quite frankly, sir, I don't think we can make America great again without hanging your CEO publicly for treason. Your company is an enemy of the American people.
We're not going to threaten violence to anybody.
Not going to threaten violence to anybody. That's the only language some people understand.
You know what gets me about this guy? And I'll make a little comment here and I'll be done. His body language was like, oh my God, I'd rather be freaking licking a truck stop's freaking men's room, instead of being here. Look at his body language and his demeanor, his facial expression. He's like, screw you, get me out of here. I'm done with this bullshit. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit.
No.
Doesn't give a damn at all, right? So I'll just drop this, and I guess because of time. So a few days ago, I walk into one of my sites, and one of the let's say one of the admins that I deal with there at a middle school is a former IDF soldier, right? Great guy. I've known him for years. He's really a truly honest, good human being. Former IDF soldier, and he's got, all his Israeli tats on his forearms and this and that stuff all over the walls and stuff. So we got to talking about what's going on right now, right? And what's happening. Flock was one of the issues that came up. Also, the Islamic problem came up. And, of course, we were just talking back and forth, bouncing ideas and, where we see everything going. He's getting ready to retire pretty soon. And I asked him, I said, look, military guy to military guy, right? And I've been over there. I've been in that part of the world. I know it inside and out. I said, where does this end? And he paused for a moment. He looked at me dead in the eyes. And I'm like, okay, was that an inappropriate question or what's going on? He goes, you know very well how this ends. And I'm like, yeah, I think I do. He goes, it ends with blood, period. And we fist bumped. Said, have a great weekend, bro. We'll see you. All right, stay safe. And I left. And you know what? He's right. At the end of the day, man, I'm I'm afraid, actually, because no one's paying attention. Look, the flock thing, the rising ups, the amount of mosques that are coming up, the whole, there is no Democratic Party anymore. It's a communist party. Midterms are less than 70 something days away. If we don't get this shit right, and if the Republicans like Thune, for example, don't get their head out of their asses and pass the SAVE Act, I don't know. We're going to have a problem. He understood the conversation. Trust me. It ends with blood. What does that mean? What is freedom paid for with? Blood. Plain and simple. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Mr. Armando, did you have to go? Because I know you got to go for school in the morning.
No.
Okay.
I'm good for another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're basically going to make sure my Tuesday and Wednesday show, Monday and Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday shows, we're basically putting a lid at 10 o'clock. So yeah, we'll be getting out the door at that time, and we'll get you in there for your class tomorrow morning. Call me sometime when you have no class.
Yeah. I got a son in college. You do? Yeah, he's majoring in effing up.
Remember, one of my favorite quotes in that movie, the best part of having kids is making them. Rodney Dangerfield. So this guy has been into, this sheriff has been into, the fight since the 2020 elections, as far as I see. But Sheriff Dar Leaf here released a video. It says a confidential informant who works for the Michigan Secretary of State's office came to him with evidence that the state's CARS system, Customer and Automotive Record System, is programmed to automatically register non-citizens to vote when they change their address. The system even congratulates them and notifies them that they're now registered. When the informant showed this to her supervisor, the response was that the county clerk would catch the non-citizenship status and remove them. Wink, wink. Sheriff Leaf says that's not true. County clerks only get access to the qualified voter file after the Secretary of State has already registered the person. The QVF itself does not contain a citizenship status field. Once someone is in the role, they can request a mail-in ballot or vote in person with their state ID. Poll workers, as we saw earlier, do not verify citizenship. Leaf's office also referred the matter to the U.S. DOJ as a possible conspiracy to violate 18 U.S.C. 611, voting by aliens, and to place non-citizens on both the voter rolls and jury pools. He also asking the Michigan legislature to act immediately to stop it. He's encouraging anyone with additional evidence to contact his office or their local sheriff. And the sheriff, they got a lot of power in these states, right? I mean, a lot of power.
Yeah, they're bound by the Constitution.
Yeah, I think these are the dudes in each of these states that they do hold lots of power. And you know what? It's funny, guys, too. I said this the other day on one of my other shows. Is I've been watching a little. I'll watch some Prime, some Netflix, or whatever on X, whatever have you, and then the TV I have has its own like free TV channels or whatever, and they do go to commercials, and it has a stupid counter like we'll be back in 55 seconds, and it counts down. Well, it does local commercials. It runs local commercials here, and literally every person that's running for governor, secretary of state, whatever have you, every single last one of them. Oh, we're going to fight Trump and his... We're not letting the Republicans move this. Every single one of them. And I'm like... So what you guys are saying is like it's the party of anti-Trump. That's what they're all basically polling on, right? The fight Trump, anti-Trump BS, and that's how it's been. Really, I mean, I noticed it this week because I had not noticed this previously. You saw it here and there, but now it's like every single person that has a commercial. It's pretty bad, and it's like you're going to complain about a president who doesn't really have much say what goes on in our very corrupt state. It's amazing to me to see all
who
this
runs
stuff.
The media.
True.
Who runs the media?
True. Oh, who was that thorn in everybody's side last election that was splitting the vote over there? What was that woman's name? Jill Stein or whatever? Apparently, judge issues arrest warrant for Jill Stein. perennial Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein after she pulls a no-show in court over a 2024 cop assault charge. So apparently Jill Stein hit a cop or whatever and then decided not to go. Both charges of misdemeanors arise from an April 27th of 24 anti-Israel protest at Washington University in St. Louis. Washington University in St. Louis. Okay, that makes sense. But Jill Stein, interesting. She don't look like a hardened criminal. What do you think, boys? I don't know. They're just trying to get all the...
Could be a Karen.
Could be a Karen. Yeah.
Crazy Karen.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Karenstein.
And I feel so bad for the, good women that are named Karen. They really got a bad rap in the last few years.
So true.
Right. Poor Karens. So
just imagine you're the police officer pulling them over and the female's name pops up, Karen last name, and you walk up to the window and you're like, please God, please
let her have long hair.
Please let her have normal colored hair. I just thought this was interesting. 2 special ops commanders removed at Air National Guard Wing. And then this person, who goes by the stupid name of Tim McVeigh, of all people, says, the words special ops and Air National Guard do not belong in the same sentence. And I take exception with that. Well, dude, yeah. I mean, I've talked about it before, too. In literally right up the road from where I used to work for years in Rhode Island, apparently they have a special ops National Guard deployment or unit there. I guess the Rhode Island National Guard is the special ops area or one of the special ops. But again, they're removing commanders. And that's something that Ghost had shared, I think, 2 weeks ago that I guess none of us had really seen before, which was that Pete Hegseth had fired all the top 2 or 3 JAGs in like early 2025 that he said were going to be obstacles or roadblocks essentially to the administration's goals and whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, I have a couple other stories that we can definitely get to in another side, but I had this one. I don't know what I named this one. This may have been the link that you had earlier. I don't know. I think you maybe shared this with the group before, Armando, so maybe I should have brought this up during the Cuban segment. Cuban officials began packing their belongings after expulsion from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, yeah. Basically, DR, basically for Dominican Republic, they basically told the Cuban embassy over there to pound sand and get out. Huh. Just like in numerous other countries in South America. They're all doing the same thing because they know that if they don't, they're going to be dealing with certain, let's just say, tariffs, sanctions, and whatnot, and they just don't want them. They're bad news. They're no bueno. They got to go.
Oh yeah. So most likely it's for the spying aspect of it, right? The human intelligence that.
It's trafficking. It's spying. It's human. It's everything and above, and also
genocide too.
Yes, thank you. And also understand too that you have Haiti is being run by who? Gang members, right? Their political system is in total chaos, total disarray, but yet they breach Dominican Republic's borders on an ongoing basis because it's cheap labor, and they don't want to live under those conditions anymore. So they're getting ready to clamp down on that too. All right, but the intelligence aspect of it, no, they want no part of it. They're like, nope, you got to go, you got to get out. Wow. And that's fine. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good on them. That's all I got to say.
Awesome. All right, boys. Well, it is almost 9:00. It's about 5 minutes of, so I'm going to do some thank yous, and then we'll do our farewells, and we'll pick it up on the next show. I get a whole day off tomorrow, guys. A whole day off. Can't wait.
Very nice.
I don't know what I'm going to do. My son broke he didn't break the driver, but when you learn how to hit a golf ball, the driving, some kids, my son included, has the tendency to his whole body kind of goes down a little bit sometimes when he hits the ball. So as a result, he slams the driver into the ground right before the pin or right before the thing. So at the bottom of the driver, which I didn't have enough money to get it. My neighbor gave it to me because our son moved away, and it just had this nice big ass driver that we were crushing the ball. And now when I hit it, it's like tink, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's dead. It's not like broken open, but it's just like when you hit it, you hear it like tink, and it goes nowhere. I'm like, yeah, you killed that thing. So we'll be using the clubs from the place.
It's not a chipper, it's a driver.
The funny thing is, I was doing pretty good with I think they call it a hybrid driver. It was like a five hybrid or something, and I was surprised. That was the one club that I was hitting straight over and over and over, 150 yards dead center, 150 yards, 150 yards. I was like, right off the grass. I'm going to keep doing it like this. I am over on the Foxhole, where my Sunday co-host, Matrix Codebreaker, started us off with a can and says, boom time, let's go. Appreciate you there, brother. I'll see if he's live. I can raid you guys into him. Mr. Sean Joe, Space Squad founding member, came in with a cookie and then another cookie. No message on there, but thank you, brother. And then One Thunder with the can. No message on there, but thank you. Let's see. Jucani Gift the Shades says, God bless. Ting Pope came in with a cookie, says, Spaceshot, enjoy your panel of guests, Armando, Doc Mike, and Renee, and Ghost, and Jeff. Great discussion today, as usual. Well, thank you very much for that. And I am releasing those scratchings right now. Boom, and they will be coming at you. And I had already previously thanked Randall S. Crow and Mr. MacGyver. And I'm telling you what, maybe if he says it's okay on Sunday, when I have a little bit more time with Mr. Matrix, I'll play Randall's video there. It's about 5 minutes. So if he gives me the okay, I'll play that sucker on Friday, and I'll play that for you guys, and you can see his story. I thought it was a little beautiful story about his brother's passing, which I will also drop into the chat in a second. But as we're out the door, I will let Mr. Armando go because he's the only one that has school tomorrow. And my son, by the way, Armando, he got his schedule today, and then he went up to the bedroom and called all his friends. And what teacher do you got? What teacher do you got? You got that Armando guy? He's such a jerk. Oh, blah, 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 blah. No. But he did get his schedule and all that stuff. But apparently he's starting school next Wednesday. So it's already back. He's starting school on the 26th, which would be Wednesday, and apparently he has a half a day. I'm like, oh. So we don't get him out the house for the whole day, just a half? Damn it.
Yeah, it's like I'm never inside the classrooms. Like I said, I work behind the scenes a lot, so teaching is not really my forte. I just do my audio video stuff and just keep rolling with the punches, man. I got 14 months in a wake up and I'm done. Those of you in the veteran community will understand what that means.
14 years and a wake up.
No, 14 months, bro. I'm getting short.
Oh, okay.
Call it short time. Yeah.
Getting short. Okay. Did you want to do the parting words, sir, for the folks out there?
Yeah. I just dropped in the chat here, fair winds and following seas for everyone. Thank you for the love, the support, and the understanding. But I will not disappear. I will be back at some point in the foreseeable future and maybe ramp things up again. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but duty calls and I got to stick with it. And like I said, either once or twice a month on Tuesdays, I will be here. So glad you guys are here. Thank you guys in the chat again, and especially the mods. You guys do a great job. Please help out Mike and Renee in my parting words, man. Whatever you guys can do for a GoFundMe. They really need all the help and all the blessings and the prayers that you can offer to them. And take care of yourselves, man. Thank you again. I'll be back. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Jeff Davis, sir. Any parting words for the crew? And seeing as Mr. Armando is not going to have a show to promote this week, you want to let the folks know the next time you'll be live?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the invitation. You guys are awesome. It's a very different perspective than what I get in my normal day-to-day. I have a show, Thoughtcast. I'm here on Rumble live because I've been kicked out of everywhere else. And, I have an incredible community, a really great community, and it's a one-man show. So I just constantly talk to the chat. So we have a really good time together. Nice. But I'm live 12 p.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday for that, and then I run other streams at different times, but that's the main times. So yeah, thanks for bringing me in, and I really enjoy these panels, and I do listen and bring stuff from this to my show as it fits in. So it's really good information a lot of times.
Heck yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, and pop on whenever you can. We're one man down. We're one man down half of the month. So, but after that, we're cool. But yeah, obviously hop in whenever you would like. Mr. Doc Mike, sir, any parting words for the wonderful world patriots out there, sir?
Yeah, thank you to the wonderful world of all the patriots that we have out there, and absolutely a blessing to be on here. And want to, just say thank you, for being part of, Renee and I, call you guys family. And, it's absolutely amazing with all the prayers after Renee had to go to the emergency room. It means a lot. And, and those prayers held true. Those prayers got her out, got her the best doctor, that was there to take care of her, the best nurses. And she pulled through. And that's the biggest blessing that, we could ask for. And we're absolutely grateful for that. That we are, doing our best on the fundraiser for Renee's heart transplant. And so, we are asking if, as we're getting closer to the heart transplant, if people can help out with donations, whether it be $1, $2, $5, or whatever it may be, just so it can help out with her heart transplant. And that would be very grateful and very be a big blessing for Renee. And I just I will always be here in support for you guys. And as I get closer to my retirement as well, I will have a lot more to share, and I looked over my paperwork, and a lot of my non-disclosure agreements will expire as well. So I have a lot more freedom to talk about things, and I think it will be pretty amazing. And also, I was speaking with Armando about this. Renee and I were thinking of doing, maybe some type of podcast or YouTube channel to where, we could talk about her medical journey, and, have people ask live questions, Q&A, and just what's going on as we're going through the journey. We know there's other people out there that, that may be going through, that are going through something or something similar. And, we thought, maybe it's, something nice to share our story as share our story as Renee is going through this. And, us as well, as her husband, so that's something that we're thinking about, and, maybe put out there. And, it's brand new to us, how to do this. So we'll figure out as we go.
I got you back, buddy. You need any help learning how to, I'll give you a snap lesson on all the streaming stuff. No problem.
Oh, absolutely. Appreciate it. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's a blessing to be on here. Really a true blessing. And, thank you again. God bless you all. And it means absolutely everything for everything that you guys have done as being, family on here. And I look forward to so many more future meetings on here. And I think we're going to have some pretty cool wild places to go, and a lot of new information the world hasn't seen or hasn't heard of. And I would like to break out that information to you guys.
Hell yeah.
So thank you.
Hell yeah. And thank you for taking your time to come on here with us, Mike and Armando and Jeff. And if you're still listening there, Mr. Ghost, I do appreciate all of you guys giving your perspective on here with these wonderful world patriots. And as exampled by the last time I got 11,000 views on a post on X's, literally the last time I asked for prayers for somebody else. So I'm super happy that that is the case, because people do step up when we ask for prayers, and that's, always needed. Prayers and numbers absolutely work. So thank you out there, guys. Armando, Jeff, Ghost, and Doc Mike, of course. And I can't ever forget to thank the mods who have been very helpful over these last many years. And for you guys and girls out there, I will be off tomorrow, and I'll be back on the round table at 2 with Rambo and friends there, and then Table of Titans, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you guys there. And as I say at the end of every show, and truly mean, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion.
You have all the money in the world, you have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? He said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
Party in the garden, the tower's falling, love in the summertime. Ooh, yeah, yeah. And I'm unified, feeling oh so unified. In the lockdown, in the lockdown.
I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Every day, it's a gift. That's why we call it the best. We were born on the garden of Earth, but the flowers grow up, little birds chirp. I was in the garden just having a laugh, till I met a monster cross my path. Hey, Gather, do you want some mozzarella? I could get you lit up one of two ways. What's it gonna be, man? What's it gonna be, man? Say it, I feel like the whole world was begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me. Say it, I forgot the whole world begging me to rain fire above upon my enemies, till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me every day. It's a gift, that's why we call it blessing. Every day. It's a gift, that's why we call it blessing. Drink this cheers, can we be saved?
Is a gift.